Like hi, though.
No, Maynard.
No, Maynard, what?
No, Maynard, I will not lend you a quarter for a chili burger with mustard, onions, and sliced bananas.
Hey, how'd you know I was going to ask that? You must be,
The word is psychic.
The word is cheap.
Maynard.
No offense, though, but ain't your fault you're cheap. It's a cheap way you were brought up by your cheap father, the old Flintstone.
Maynard, that's skin flint, and you're right. But there's a reason. You see, all his life, Dad's had to struggle for every penny he's ever had. He says kids these days have it too easy. They don't know what good hard work is.
Quite so, Gillis, baby. What good is it? Don't crowd, you greedy oafs. You'll bruise the cashmere. Here, fabulously expensive gold watches for you, and you, and you, and you.
Chatsworth Osborne Jr. is the richest boy in town. He drives a fancy foreign sports car, he lives in a beautiful house on the hill, and he has unlimited charge accounts at all the classy stores. But with all that, is he happy? Well, yes, I guess he is. But it's not real happiness. Not the kind that's lasting or important. You don't believe me? Okay. Just look at the way he celebrates his birthday.
On this, my joyous natal day, oh joy to me, hooray, hooray!
Chatsworth, you are the utter flaming ultimate. I mean, giving us watches to celebrate your birthday, I mean.
Yes, I am rather sporty, amn't I? There will now be great gobs of appreciative, unsolicited applause. And now for the pièce de résistance. You are all invited, social position notwithstanding, to attend a gala soiree at my palatial home. Halt, peasants, I command you. Didn't you hear? You were invited to Osborne Manor.
Thanks anyhow, Chatsworth, but I've got to get home and study. I'm weeks behind in history.
Well, no. Come back. Please, compatriots, schoolmates, friends. Please don't go. Oh, mice and rats. Dobie, why won't anyone come to my party? What did I do wrong? What?
Chatsworth, listen to me. Those kids turned down your invitation because you tried to win their friendship by paying for it. You'll never be a worthwhile human being if you put money before character.
Oh, come now.
You're supposed to be on my side.
But I must admit you are far better liked than I, despite your commonplace origins. You are respected for what you are, not for what your family can buy for you. Yes, you are a fine, upstanding citizen of the future.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, me neither. It's true. Tell me, Dobie-Doo, how did you get to be the kind of chap you are today? Bad breaks. How I envy you. You must have been molded into your present manly shape by some rock-hard, solid, stubborn, unbending force.
For Pete's sake, Dobie, I've been driving all over this cotton-picking campus looking for you. What kind of malarkey's going on around here anyway?
Dad, I wasn't supposed to meet you to help with the delivery until 4.
What's the matter? It's going to kill you to be a few minutes early? How long have I been yapping at you about ambition and push and get up and go? Boy, if you're ever going to amount to anything in this world, you got to remember the...
Did you ever wonder how come you act like you and I act like me? Well, there's a lot of reasons, of course, but mostly I'd say it's on account of our parents and the way we were brought up. I mean, my parents, for instance, are strict but fair. Maynard's parents are bewildered but hopeful. And Chatsworth Osborne Jr.'s mother's is
I'm a supreme example of American motherhood. Sweet, kind, gentle, understanding. And if you do not stop pestering me at once, it's Devil's Island for you, you nasty boy.
Mumsy, I am not a nasty boy. Yesterday I celebrated my 20th birthday.
That makes you a nasty 20-year-old nasty boy.
Lovable me?
Thanks to lovable you, I will probably have to call off my tiger hunt in India. I can't go and leave you all alone here at Osborne Manor.
Why not? I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself. I am in college. I am a veteran of the armed forces.
Oh, Chatsworth, it pains me deeply to tell you this, but merely being in college and being a veteran does not necessarily qualify you to be a responsible, dependable person.
Yes, I'm afraid so, Mumsy.
You have every qualification to be a man. Age, education, background, and still.
I am nothing but a nasty boy.
True, heartbreaking, but true. Now, to leave you alone here would merely mean to invite disaster and quadruple insurance rates. Now, Chatsworth, let's face the facts. You are my son. You have many, many fine qualities. most of which escape me for the moment. But I cannot leave you here without a strong, firm, rough hand to lead you around by the ear.
Mumsy, I will try valiantly. Wait! A strong, firm, rough hand. I know just the man. I know.
Oh, simmer down, Chatsworth. What are you jabbering about?
Mumsy, what if I could find someone who is strong and firm and rough enough? Someone who could mold Chatsworth Osborne Jr., namby-pamby weakling, into Chatsworth Osborne Jr., manly man among men.
Well, it would be bye-bye Chatsworth, hello India. Oh, where would we ever find such a man? Someone hard and firm and ruthless. Now that Captain Bligh is no longer with us.
I've got just the man. He'll turn me into the kind of person I so long to be. Self-reliant, firm, decisive, confident.
Mean, rotten, mean, also cheap.
Maynard, you're talking about my father.
That's the fellow, rough-looking. Mean, rotten, mean, also
I know all those things. That's why I want to borrow him.
Borrow my father? Chatsworth, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
If necessary, I'll rent him.
Look.
I'd buy him, but I hear tell there are laws.
I don't get this, Chatsworth. I mean, my father's an honest citizen and a veteran, and you get used to him and all that, but borrow him?
Borrow? Who wants to borrow something? Boy, you let me catch you lending anything out of this store, and you'll pay for it out of your salary if it takes the next 20 years.
Mr. Gillis, you are magnificent.
What's the matter with you? You some kind of a blue-blooded nut or something?
Mr. Gillis, I came here to ask a favor of you.
him? Oh, come now.
Maynard.
Mr. Gillis,
All right, Chatsworth, tell me what you want so I'll know what I'm saying no to.
I want you to make me into exactly the kind of man your son Dobie is.
I was right. You are a blue-blooded nut.
No, I'm serious, Mr. Gillis. Please listen to me. Mr. Gillis!
This seems to mean a great deal to Chatsworth, dear. Why don't you hear him out?
Okay, Chatsworth, what's on your mind?
Mr. Gillis!
I've heard enough, and I'm against the whole thing. Goodbye.
Look at me, Mr. Gillis. What kind of a person do I appear to be? The truth now.
Well,
Mr. G, if you're short on words, I got plenty.
Maynard.
What about you, Mrs. Gillis? How would you describe me?
Well,
Dobie?
Well,
Oh, boy, my turn.
Maynard.
I'm spoiled. True? Snobbish. Overbearing. Snooty.
Yep, them are the words.
It's true. That's exactly the kind of person I've been. Snobbish, snooty, overbearing.
You left out creepy.
All right. Creepy. That's why I need your help, Mr. Gillis. I want you to move into Osborne Manor while Mumsy is away. Bring your family with you if you wish. And make me over. Make me toe the mark the way you did with Dobie. Make a man of me. My life to now has been a terrible waste. I desperately need someone to straighten me out before it's too late.
You know something, Chatsworth? Under that snooty outside, I've got a feeling that you've got a pretty okay inside.
I hope so, Dobie, do. I truly hope so.
Mr. Gillis will be overjoyed to help you, Chatsworth, dear. Won't you, Herbert?
now, Winnie.
Dad, a human soul's crying out for help. How can you say no?
You're right, son. I'm too big a man to back down in the face of this challenge. Chatsworth, you've got yourself a deal. But you better be loaded with intestinal fortitude, because from now on, it's early to bed, early to rise, hard work, the rough and ready life.
Glorioski, I'm beginning to feel stalwart and manly already.
Teaching Chatsworth Osborne Jr. how to become a man was not a job to be taken lightly. But if it could be done, Dad was a fella to do it. In the first place, he doesn't go for any of that fancy bowing and scraping.
I don't go for none of that fancy bowing and scraping. Now cut that out. I want you to treat me like I was a simple person.
He is bowing and scraping to me, simple man. If you were any more simple, it would be indecent.
Hello, Mrs. Osborne.
Gillis, I understand that you are going to attempt to take my place and make a hard-working, earthy man among men out of my poor baby. Chatsworth, button your coat, dear. There's a draft out here.
Mumsy, please.
Well, I shall do my best, ma'am. After all, there's good stuff in the boy. It just ain't been brought out right around here. No offense.
And so you intend to bring out this good stuff in him?
Mrs. Osborne, when you get back home, you won't recognize the boy.
Well, I've always tried to do what is right for Chatsworth, ever since his father went to that big board of directors meeting in the sky. Raising a boy alone is not easy for a poor, helpless widow. By the way, Tremblay, call my broker first thing in the morning. Tell him to buy up every share of Amalgamated Tin if it breaks the company and every miserable stockholder in it.
It'll be attended to, madam.
Mrs. Osborne, my husband does not mean that he intends to take your place. It's just that, forgive me, without a firm, masculine hand to guide him, a boy can go off in odd directions.
Oh, no. Don't shilly-shally, Mrs. Gillis. Your coarse working-man husband intends to show Chatsworth that our way of life has been harmful.
It must be true, Mumsy, else why am I so unpleasant?
The word is nasty, but you do have a point. I have absolutely no faith in the outcome of this whole experiment, but I have promised Chatsworth that he may have a go at it, and I never renege on a promise, unless I feel like it. Tremblay, my bags. India awaits.
Farewell, Mumsy. Good hunting.
All right, Chatsworth. Breaking. No, an invasion, Tremblay, my elephant gun.
So it's just me managing Krebs.
Call Washington, try to get President Harding directly.
Maynard's with me, Mrs. Osborne. He gets lonesome alone.
I cry.
Oh, no. Oh, after this, man-eating tigers will be a ladies' tea party. So, they think they can brainwash Mumsy's little lamb. Ha! Mumsy is going nowhere. Mumsy is staying right here and watch them fail miserably.
Here, madam.
Oh, this secret passage goes all through the house. It was built by Chatsworth's great-great-grandfather, Republican J. Osborne. He hid out here through 5 Democratic administrations. Tremblay, hide the luggage. There's more than one way to skin a Gillis.
Yes, madam.
The reason this kid is soft and flabby and wishy-washy is because the living around here is soft and flabby and wishy-washy. But no more, all the fancy living is out.
Bravo, Mr. Gillis.
Thank you. I'll have nobody in this house who's a time waster, a slacker, a gold brick, a goof-off.
You rang? I promised you. When does easy living start?
Maynard, drop that gear fall in and start shaping up.
Right, yes, sir, your dictatorship.
And that's the way it's gonna be. Hard work, no frills. Any questions? That's what I like to see. No back talk. Dismissed. And listen, you guys better get upstairs and start sleeping on the double because Reveille goes at 0600. We got to get out there and rake leaves and paint the tool shed and dig a couple 100 post holes.
6 o'clock, Dad?
Like 6 o'clock? Like bye.
Chatsworth, the idea is don't waken. Keep driving ahead toward that goal.
Never let anything tempt you away from the course that you've chosen to follow. That's the secret of success.
With the two of them as my inspiring examples, how could anything in this world possibly sidetrack me?
Trembling.
You hissed, madam?
Don't look at the picture, you knucklehead. Carry on. Face the other way.
As you say, madam.
This oaf Gillis must be smarter than he looks.
He'd have to be, madam.
He and his idiotically virtuous family have firmly convinced Chatsworth that the soft and easy life is unhealthy.
Good gad, shouldn't we report them to some congressional committee?
No, there's a quicker way. Let us see how long the noble Gillises can resist the soft and easy life when it's offered to them.
Ah, madam is a genius.
Never mind the flattery, Tremblay. Just get cracking. Great-grandfather Osborne was a drinking man, and it's soggy in here.
Very well. Edie, I want to talk to you.
Zut alors, Tremblay. Qu'est-ce que c'est this hard work and qu'est-ce que c'est this blabbermouth Heber T. Gillis?
Don't worry, he won't be with us for long. Meanwhile, you take care of Mrs. Gillis, the full treatment.
Ooh, the treatment? Ooh la la?
Right. And I'll be giving old Blabbermouth the treatment double. Ooh la la.
When my father was a boy, he led a very hard life. You know why? Because his family was cheap. Yeah, well, maybe cheap's the wrong way to put it. What they really were was, cheap. But that experience made Dad so tough and strong and hard-headed that the luxuries of Osborne Manor could never soften him up.
Hey, what are you doing in here?
I come to bathe you, sir.
Listen, the last time anybody bathed me, it was my mother. I was 6 months old, and I didn't like it then. What's that stuff?
It's iguana oil, sir. Most relaxing.
And whatever happened to good old-fashioned soap? Out! Cut that out, will you? If my back gets scrubbed, I'm going to be the one that's... a little over to the right, please. There, that's the spot I never could get a hold of. I'm a full-grown man, and I'm a... No, a little higher, a little...
I want to tell you, make bigger circles.
wait on me like this is because it's been a long, tiring day.
Oui, madame. And now, madame must choose for herself a beautiful dressing gown from Paris.
A dressing gown? Oh, no, Fifi, I couldn't take anything. Ooh, that white one. Is that my size?
It is perfect, madame.
Oh, it's been years since Herbert saw me in anything like this. Not since our honeymoon. Oh, come on, girls, hurry up. I can't wait for Herbert to see me. And don't be cheap with that perfume. Oh, poor Herbert, living the rough and rugged life. He doesn't know what he's missing.
Chinese silk pajamas? You must be kidding.
But, Mr. Gillis, sir, at Osborne Manor, everybody wears this type of sleeping apparel.
Look, I let you talk me into that fancy bath, see? But the silk pajamas is out, and that goes for you too, Waldo. Out!
But, sir, what about the midnight repast that cook has prepared? All sorts of goodies?
Don't you know that it is very unhealthy to eat just before you go to bed? Besides, stuff like, this, well, I guess just this once a little snack ain't gonna hurt me, But I don't want you to think it's gonna become a regular habit, see? Give me just a little dab of those fish eggs, Harry.
Of course it won't become a regular habit. How about some of these oysters Rockefeller?
Well, if Rockefeller ain't using them, why not? Say, Blinky, would you mind slipping on my slippers? I've had a hard, tiring day.
That's the way to talk. Now you've got the right idea.
Poor Winnie. She don't know what she's missing.
All right, so Mrs. Osborne's butler found a couple of little weak spots in Dad. But when it came to fighting off the important luxuries, Dad was strong as an ox.
Thank you. Have these peeled the next time.
Good heavens, I completely forgot to cancel Mrs. Osborne's flamenco lesson. I'm sorry, Madam is out of town. Bye-bye. Adios. Vamos. Unless, sir, you'd care to avail yourself of the lessons. They are most, shall we say, interesting.
Well, as long as they're here, we don't want to do anything to upset friendly Latin American relations now, do we? How do you turn them on?
Ole.
Ole. Okay, kids. Ole! Come in, join the party. Hey, look at you. Look at me with the padded kimono and the silk pajamas. Hey, and get a load of this midnight snack over here, huh? And the best entertainment north of Tijuana. Ole?
Herbert, I thought we were supposed to live simply.
Well, Winnie, you know I don't like this fancy living any more than you do, but we got to think of all our other fellow Americans.
Fellow Americans?
Well, sure, all of our other fellow Americans. Take these fish eggs, for instance. Why, if we don't eat them, the first thing you know, the demand for fish eggs starts going down, and it's a known fact that fish eggs collectors have large families, see? Now, what happens to all these little kitties when Papa gets the eggs, huh? Poverty, starvation, malnutrition, that's what. And rubber boots.
Rubber boots?
Well, sure, you don't think a guy can go running around in rivers collecting fish eggs unless he wears rubber boots, do you?
Well, I suppose
And
not,
where do
Herbert,
we
but-
get the rubber from to make those rubber boots? South America. You don't want the rest of the world to figure we're turning our backs on our fellow South Americans, do you? And tortillas, what about them?
Tortillas?
No Spanish dance and nobody wears on heels. Nobody wears on heels. Nobody's buying heels. And all the Spanish heel makers are broke and can't buy tortillas. And then the tortilla makers are broke. And Winnie, you are driving us smack dab into the center of malnutrition, starvation, poverty, and war with Spain and South America and all us fellow Americans.
I'm just no good. I hate myself. Dancers? Ole!
My Spanish blood.
I only hope I'm in time to undo all the dreadful damage that I've done.
Oh, just do the best you can, Winnie Pooh. Romance is for
Fine.
Not bad, huh?
Thank you. Not bad. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel so patriotic.
bed, so we may be up for the birds and start working and learning to... What about the virtues of hard work and the plain, simple life?
Well, Chancey, I'll tell you. You see, it was this way. I can explain everything, but, you tell them, Eddie.
No, please, Mr. Gillis. It's all perfectly clear. Temptation was put in your path and you couldn't resist it. I understand. I've spent a lifetime giving in to temptations myself.
Now, just a minute. So we lived it up a little, but this don't mean that I ain't fit to teach you how to grow up and be a man.
No offense, Dad, but that's exactly what it does prove. Chatsworth brought us here to be shining examples of the kind of person he thinks he wants to be. And we've only proved that no one can really rely on someone else to teach him the things he has to learn himself.
Now, hold on, boy. I think that, well, I think I've let you down horribly, Chatsworth, and I don't want you to be mad at me. I'm not bad, I'm just weak.
Please, I feel terrible about letting your mother down because we promised that we'd take care of the house for her.
I shall take care of the house, and I shall take care of Mumsy.
You will do what, you nasty boy? Mumsy! Hard-working, homespun, pioneer spirit. Well, now I hope you've learned a lesson. I have been lurking there all day waiting for this moment.
But, Mumsy!
Quiet, ingrate?
No, Mumsy, I shall not be shushed like a mere child. Your little boy has become a full-fledged Osborne man.
Chatsworth, this is utter nonsense. How can you suddenly be so sure you're a man?
I don't know exactly how. I just know.
Forgive me for interfering, Mrs. Osborne, but Chatsworth is right. Somehow he knows that he's learned all he can from others. From here on in, everything he does or doesn't do in life is up to him, and him alone.
He's just a boy.
No, Mumsy. To everyone in this room, my actions in the past few minutes have proved that I have become a man. But you still see me as a boy. Only to you, Mumsy. Because you can't see clearly for the love in your eyes.
Oh, I guess you're right. Well, now you're a man.
The Mumsies are always the last to know. Now go to India and hunt to your heart's content. Be happy. I am a man now. I shall take charge.
By thunder, I think you can do it. Well, Chatsworth, farewell. I go with a light heart and an itchy trigger finger.
I think I've passed the first test.
You certainly have, dear.
Well, I guess we better get out of here so you can start running Osborne Manor and being simple and rugged and hard-working.
Well, I certainly do want to be simple, rugged, and hard-working. Starting tomorrow. Food, dancing, music, olé! It's a wonder he didn't pounce on her.
A tiger pounce on me? He wouldn't dare.
Well, we're awfully glad that you're home safe and sound and that you're here having dinner with us.
Oh, it was delicious. Now, you must give this recipe to my chef. What's it called?
Frankfurters and beans. Just call Winnie any Tuesday or Thursday and she'll put your name in the pot.
Well, you men sit here and talk. I have dishes to do.
May I help?
Chatsworth, you weren't listening. Men are to sit here and talk. Dishes are a woman's work. Winnie, will I wash or dry?
Glorioski, my cup runneth over.
Occupation, husband seeker. Now, what do these two have in common? They're both geniuses. You know how brilliantly Napoleon operated. It's in all the history books. Now watch Zelda Gilroy in action. Barbara Jean, my angel, I can no longer be silent, for a burning question burns in my heart. Will you marry me?
Well, golly, Dobie.
I beg you, my sweet, speak the magic words that'll stir my heart into joyful melody.
Stop the music.
Zelda, you were spying on me again.
What's spying, Poopsie? I'm merely here to help you win the girl of your dreams, whoever she happens to be this week.
Come off it, Zelda.
Stop me the second I say something wrong.
Hey, Zelda.
Young woman, I shall now show you good reason why you should marry Dobie. He's a solid, substantial citizen, true?
True.
So, if you marry him, he won't do strange, unpredictable things. Hence, your life will be quiet and relaxed with no wild, crazy kicks or excitement, true?
True.
Placid, even, bland, homogenized, like baby food kind of, true?
True.
So marry him already.
Yes, so marry me already.
Placid, bland, baby food. No kicks or excitement? Oh, you've got to be kidding. That's strictly Dullsville. See you around, Buster. Thanks, Zelda. You're a pal.
Barbara Jean! Barbara Jean! Zelda, that was a mean, low, sneaky trick.
Yeah, how about that? What, you poor blind fool? When are you going to stop trying to squirm away from me? I'm zeroing in on you, lover, and when my mind's made up, I'm a tiger. What's the use kidding? Zelda Gilroy has an IQ that ranks way up there with Einstein and Dr. Schweitzer and Jack Parr. So how come, with all that great mental equipment, she hasn't trapped me? Well, I'm not one to brag, but there can be only one explanation. Plain, stupid, dumb luck.
It sure fools me you ain't trapped him yet, small girl, because you got like a beautiful brain.
Thank you, Maynard.
The rest of you is kind of spooky, but ooh, that beautiful brain.
My brain is bound to come through for me this time. So far I failed with logic, but now I've come up with a weapon that can't miss.
A baseball bat.
Salesmanship.
Better try a baseball bat.
This book tells how you can sell anything by using the right psychological principles. Listen. First, attract the customer's attention. Second, generate interest in the product. Third, push to get the prospect to put down his money.
I'll take a dozen.
Never mind. The same technique that sells a refrigerator can sell Dobie on the idea of marriage. Now look, Dobie's on his way over here now. I'm going to go hide down the stairs and jump out at him. That's part of the first step. Attract his attention. Now don't tell him. It's got to be a surprise.
Oh, boy, I love surprises.
Hi, Maynard. What are you doing?
Waiting for old Zelda to pop up out of the stairs and surprise you.
I wonder what Mom packed me for lunch.
Hello, Poopsie. You notice anything different about me?
You're wearing a new dress?
Dobie.
A new hairdo?
Dobie.
I give up, Zelda. What's different about you?
Okay, you attracted his attention. Second, generate interest in the product.
Right. And what a product. Exciting, novel, trustworthy. Guaranteed to provide loyal and devoted service for a lifetime.
Third, push to get the prospect to put down his money.
Yes, sir. You can make this fascinating little item your very own. Act now. Don't delay. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Well, Dobie? Well?
I can't explain it, but all of a sudden I feel an overpowering urge to run out and buy a refrigerator. Ooh, that's Zelda. When it comes to tracking down her man, she makes the Northwest Mounted Police look like the Keystone Cops. With her around, I wasn't even safe in a classroom.
Today, class, we're going to discuss a subject that is of great interest to all of you, marriage.
I'm getting out of here.
It's no use. I tied your shoelaces to the chair.
Oh, come on now, Zelda. That's the most ridiculous story you've made up yet. I'm not going to sit here and
Please, Mr. Gillis, no more clowning around. Now, can anyone in this class give me a concise definition of marriage? How about you, Mr. Krebs? I would like a definition that is well-reasoned and thoughtful, and I withdraw the question.
That ain't kind of you, diplomatship. You're all the time saying I don't know the answer. Thought you'd give me a chance.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Krebs. Forgive me.
You like forgiving.
Like thank you.
You like welcome.
Can you answer the question?
Like no.
Like that's what I figured. And now to return from this voyage to a lost continent, Miss Gilroy, can you give us a working definition of marriage?
Marriage is a divinely blissful contractual relationship that unites a loyal, hard-working, devoted female to a fortunate, happy forever after male, leading to supreme joy and rapture for both parties, especially the male. Any questions, Dobie?
That's excellent, Miss Gilroy.
That was my definition. Now would you like to hear my opinion?
I have the feeling we just did. So much for romance. Now to marriage. In most societies, marriage is the commonly accepted, lasting relationship between the sexes.
What he said.
Now, what are the reasons that marriage is so widely accepted? Well, here are a few of them. In the first place, married people live 3.7 years longer on the average than single people.
You hear that, Poopsie? A 3.7 years longer life to be happier in.
All right, Zelda, two can play at your little game. 3.7 years. Hear that, Barbara Jean?
As to income, married people make 14.4% more money than single people.
Viva married people!
Married people are better adjusted emotionally. They commit suicide 31.7% less often than single people.
14.4 and 31.7. You get that, lover? Marry me and you'll be wealthier and happier by a total of 46.1%.
Hear that, Barbara Jean? Marry me and you'll be rich as a princess and do very little jumping off bridges.
So we see that marriage brings more money, greater security, better job prospects, and sounder emotional health. All right, now let's open the subject for class discussion. What do you conclude from all this? What are your general views regarding marriage?
Marriage is the most.
Marriage is tops.
Marriage is dreamy.
Marriage is like nothing.
Mr. Krebs, how can you say that?
It's like easy. All you do is open your mouth and out it comes. Watch. Marriage is like nothing.
Weren't you listening to the statistics I quoted?
Sure. I figure I'll live 3.7 years less, earn 14.4 less money, and jump off bridges 31.7 more often. It's better that way.
What's better about it?
I'll be single.
Bad thinking, Maynard. Dobie, marriage is super. And I was all wrong about it before. It's the most. It's the absolute ultimate.
Oh, boy.
Can I be excused, please, Professor? I want to go call this fellow from the Navy who proposed to me last week. I've been waiting long enough to tell him yes.
Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean.
Anchors away, matey. And now, turning to the psychological factors.
You see that, Dobie? Sooner or later, they all run out on you. Except me. So why don't you wise up, mister, and quit fighting?
Never, Zelda, so long as there's breath in this frail body.
Yeah, good buddy.
Dobie, you are destined to be mine, and nothing will stop me. Nothing.
Like, hi, good buddy. Where you been all day?
Maynard, I've been thinking.
It's not my line of work.
Maynard, look at me. What do you see?
I better not say. We've been friends too long.
I'll tell you what you see. You see a failure with a bleak and dismal future ahead.
I see all that? Man, I'm like amazing.
What's going to become of me, Maynard? I mean, let's face it, I'm not exactly the smartest fella in the world.
That's for sure.
Don't agree so fast. Also, I'm not the most talented guy in the world or the handsomest. My folks are hard-working, decent people, but they don't have a lot of money or important contacts.
And then your father's mean and rotten, and that don't help. No offense.
No offense. So what kind of future have I got?
Like dismal. You're almost as bad off as me, and that's sinking pretty low.
There's only one chance for me to get out of this rut and be somebody.
Grab it.
I've got to marry Zelda.
Drop it.
No, Maynard. Zelda's been right all along. When I started thinking about what Mr. Pomfret said today, I all of a sudden realized I'd better grab her before it's too late.
You're making jollies, huh, Dobe?
With Zelda's my wife, I'll make more money, I'll be emotionally more healthy, and I'll live 4.9 years longer.
You're pulling my arm, huh, Dobe?
That's leg, and no, Maynard, I'm not. It's now or never for me. Marry Zelda or soup kitchens, here I come.
Attention! Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye!
Yeah, Zelda, you don't have to do that. I've decided
Aha! I've got his attention. Now this
Zelda.
Stir up his interest.
Zelda.
I have here a few audiovisual aids proving that marriage is the most exciting,
Zelda, listen to me. I've decided
Dobie,
to marry you.
Someday you're going to realize that marry me, you, me.
Right.
Maynard, you heard him. He said it. He's going to marry me. He said it. Witnesses, quick, witnesses. Listen, did you hear? He said he's going to marry me.
She's going to be tough to marry without you get a lasso and a neck.
Listen, world, did you hear? Oh, Dobie, I knew you can. You're so good. I just knew it.
Zelda, you were right all the time. Can you ever forgive me for making you wait so long?
Oh, it wasn't so long. 12 years, 3 months, and 4 days, but who's counting? Oh, Dobie, you'll never regret this decision. I'm so happy. I want to turn handsprings. I want to run barefoot through the grass. I want to do wild and crazy and dangerous things.
Me too. So I'm going to break the news to my dad. He'll blow his stack.
Blow my stack? No, son. I am not going to blow my stack. I am going to dance at your wedding.
Hey, that's great, Dad.
And after I have danced at your wedding, I shall go out into the alley and cut my throat.
Sure, but that's no way to talk.
How other way is there to talk for a kind, loving father who sees his well-beloved son turning into a knuckle-headed snook?
Dad, listen to me.
Boy, why do you have to get married and fall into that miserable trap?
Yeah.
Winnie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Son, Marriage is a wonderful thing when the time is right, but you've got to be ready for it.
I am ready.
And that's what I said, and look what happened, Winnie. I'm just trying to give the boy some good advice.
Dobie, if I may translate what I suspect that your father is trying to say, don't rush into this marriage. Make sure that it's exactly what you want before you do it. Use your head as well as your heart.
Oh, Winnie, that is exactly what I've been trying to say. Oh, you have a gift for saying the right thing at the right time. You've always had that quality, even if you didn't have any other. No, there it goes.
Dad, this is not a hasty decision. Our professor, Mr. Pomfret, gave us statistics that prove to me how much better off people are married than single.
Dobie, if this is what you truly want, you must have good, sufficient reason.
Of course I do, Mom. In the first place, I'm kind and thoughtful and considerate, and I think I'll be a good husband.
Can you support a wife?
I said I'd be good, not perfect.
And may one ask where the money is coming from?
One may.
Dad, that's a fair question, and you deserve a fair answer.
And Dobie deserves a fair allowance.
Not really an allowance, more like an advance. But we'll pay you back as soon as we can, working here in the store if necessary.
It won't take too long. That Zelda's strong as a horse. Or a pony, anyhow.
Okay, Dad, you know the facts. Now, what's the answer?
I'll tell you what the answer is.
The answer is that your father and I will think it over for a day or two, and so will you, and then we will make our final decision. Fair enough?
Okay, Mom, I'll be glad to wait a couple of days and give it some thought if you want. I'm reasonable.
Good. And Herbert, you'll be reasonable too, won't you?
Him? Oh, come now.
Okay, I'll wait.
Now I'm happy. I know that my two boys will work it out just fine.
Them? Oh, come now.
Maynard, I've got to get over to Zelda's. Bye, Mom. So long, Dad.
Well, Smarty, and what do you think's going to happen when all four of us try to get into the bathroom at the same time in the morning?
Herbert, it is nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. This house has one bathroom. And what house do you think they are going to be living in?
No, Herbert. What I mean is, there's no reason to worry that Dobie and Zelda will get married. They'll talk themselves out of it just as soon as they have a chance to think about it seriously. And if we fight them, it may make things more difficult.
You know, I think I'm going over to that college and make that Pomfret take back all the good things he said about marriage.
Well, that isn't really necessary, dear, but if you want to consult him, I don't see any harm in it.
Just going to straighten him out, that's all.
All right, dear. But promise me, be calm. No violence.
Violence? Me? Winnie, my boy's future is very important to me. I will be calm and gentle as a lamb.
Who is going to punch whom in the nose?
Pomfret, you get my kid over here and tell him all those good things you said about marriage is a lot of rubbish, or you are going to wind up with a mouthful of knuckles.
Mr. Gillis, I consider anyone who threatens force to be a rude, uncouth hooligan.
Getting tired of those teeth you've been using, huh?
Very well, Mr. Gillis. If you insist upon resorting to the physical.
Herbert, no.
You're talking my language.
Although it has been 10 years since I was a judo instructor in the Marine Corps, I was battalion champion 3 years running. Now, where were we?
I was a rude, uncouth hooligan.
Right, you were.
Yeah, but a rude, uncouth hooligan who's trying to save his son from getting caught in the same trap his old man got caught in.
Herbert!
Oh, Winnie, you know what I mean.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Gillis, the information I gave the class was not intended to make those young people go charging off to the nearest justice of the peace.
Of course, we understand that.
So, if you will bring your son and Miss Gilroy in to see me, I'll do everything in my power to prevent them from acting hastily.
Oh, you're all hard, Pomfret. And I'm going to have those kids over here quicker than you can say, I do.
I do. I certainly do want to hear what you have to say, Dad.
Of course, I don't expect you kids to pay any attention to my advice. You probably look on me as an old fogey.
Oh, no, Mr. Gillis, really, we don't.
I do.
But if you've got your heads made up to go through with this marriage bit, I think maybe first we ought to talk to somebody who knows all about that kind of stuff, see? And then we'll go along with whatever he says, okay?
Yeah, good thinking, Dad.
We'll find a completely impartial authority, but who?
And now, let's not rush into anything, see? Let's take our time. Let's go over and talk to that professor over at the school. What's his name?
Pomfret.
Oh, that's the guy, yeah.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Excellent choice, but he's always so busy. When will he be able to see us?
At 4:15, he's expecting us.
Believe me, Dobie and Zelda, I realize that the task of advising young people on marriage is a very difficult one.
Except for saying, no, that's a cinch.
However, I have made up a list of the elements that I consider essential in the background of participants in a happy marriage. Now, I would like to check you out and see how you measure up on these counts.
They'll measure up miserable, so what's the use of talking?
Dad, we all agreed to go along with Mr. Pomfret's advice, so we certainly ought to listen carefully to him.
I'm listening. What have I got to worry about? Huh, Pompey?
We shall see, Mr. Gillis. Now, the first item is most important. Are your parents happily married?
What's that got to do with anything?
Children of a happy marriage are more likely to be well-adjusted. Yeah, Mr. Pomfret, my parents are like a couple of newlyweds.
My folks are happily married, too.
Good. You score 100% on that question.
Now, hold the phone. Do you mean that if Dobie comes from an unhappy home, the chances are he won't have a happy marriage?
Well, yes.
Dobie, what makes you so sure your parents are happily married?
What? Aren't we happily married?
Winnie, this is not the time or the place to discuss it.
Oh, yes, it is. If we aren't happy, I'd like to hear about it.
Well, I suppose it would have to come out sometime.
And the sometime is now. Tell me, Herbert. Don't spare my feelings.
Oh, Winnie, I'm sorry, but for years I've been running around on the verge of frustration.
Oh? And how long has this been going on?
Ever since the honeymoon.
Dad, if you were that unhappy, Mom and I would have noticed.
Oh, not for me, you wouldn't, boy. I'm the kind who likes to cry privately, like into my pillow.
And all this time I thought you were snoring.
Pomfret, the answer to your question is no. Dobie does not come from a happy home. Next question.
Next question. Dobie and Zelda, did you have a happy childhood?
Yes.
What's that got to do with it?
Happy children grow into well-adjusted adults and make excellent marriage prospects. Mr. Pomfret, I was extremely happy as a child.
Me, too.
You were a pathetic kid, always sniveling.
No, I wasn't, Dad. I was very happy.
Son, you laughed to hide your tears. You come from that kind of stock. You don't remember, but I do. Morose, sullen, miserable. And why? Because you came from an unhappy home.
Herbert, what on earth are you talking about? Dobie was a very happy child, laughing and singing all the time.
Yeah, did you hear that, Professor? That is why he was an unhappy child, because I got a wife who is always contradicting me. Now, it is impossible for a child to have a happy home life when he's got two parents, one of which is always contradicting and arguing with the other. It figures he has to be an unhappy kid. Next question.
Very well. Did you have a strong affection for your mother?
Yes.
Whoa there, whoa.
All right. Speaking for myself, I had a very strong affection for my mother.
I'm talking about this ingrate here, this fresh kid who never did anything good for his mother.
Dad, I love my mother.
That's true. Dobie was always very sweet to me.
Oh, come on, admit it, Winnie. You are just ashamed to tell Pomfret here that we have an unhappy home and a son who is rotten inside. Well, I admit it. I, who am the rotten father of this unhappy father's kid. And the next question.
Did you have a strong affection for your father?
Yes.
And you, tell the truth for a change, will you?
I love you, Dad.
No, come now. How can anybody love me? And that just proves that he's making up the whole blame thing. Next question.
I have no more questions.
All right, and all the answers have been wrong, so let's forget all this marriage jazz and go home. Come on.
Not so fast, Mr. Gillis. You've just given Mr. Pomfret a dramatic demonstration of the love and devotion a father can feel for his son. Mr. Pomfret, don't you see? Mr. Gillis would do anything for Dobie. Lie, cheat, degrade himself, anything. If he thought it was in the best interest of his son.
I realize that, Zelda. And with such a loving family background, academically speaking now, it would seem to me that a marriage between Zelda and Dobie would have every chance of success.
Hey, that's wonderful, Mr.
How can we ever
Pomfret.
thank you,
Hey,
sir?
wait a minute. What's all this?
Dad, you promised to go along with whatever the professor advised.
Dobie's right. You did promise, dear.
This is the wisest decision you ever made, and you'll never regret it, Papa Gillis.
Zelda, I regretted it before I ever got here. Now it's in spades.
I'm taking down this picture of Napoleon Bonaparte. That's only fair, because Zelda's now in a class by herself. I mean, if she'd been with General Custer, there's no question that the whole thing would now be known as the Indians' last stand. She's unbeatable. So it's inevitable that the day is rapidly approaching when I will be saying two of the truly shattering words in the English language.
I do. Yep, that's what I'm going to say over and like over. When they say, is there anybody here who can give a reason why these two should not be married, I'm going to jump up and say, I do. I'm going to say, you're a bank robber, a safecracker, a trunk murderer, and you got 3 traffic tickets in the last month, and if that don't work, I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint all over the place. I'm going to faint. I'm going to have to give you artificial inspiration.
Maynard, that's respiration and enough. I'm marrying Zelda, and that's all there is to it.
Ah, Zelda, my betrothed. How good to see you.
Hi, Maynard.
Hi.
Maynard, how come you don't want me and Dobie to get married?
Well, it ain't none of my business, so I'll tell you.
Maynard, stay out of
No,
this.
please, Dobie. I want to hear what he has to say.
Well, ever since he got engaged, old Dobie ain't been the old Dobie used to be.
Says who?
Says me. I just said it. Didn't you hear me?
Continue, Maynard. I want to hear this.
Well, he used to go galloping around after chicks, and pinching flowers off Miss Trigney's lawn to give him, and writing them poems that didn't rhyme, and singing under the windows in the middle of the night, and just acting like some kind of nut. No offense, old nut.
All right, Maynard, since you insist on bringing it up, you're right. I did act like some kind of a nut. I was a perpetual schoolboy, always chasing after a rainbow I couldn't catch. But now that I know my future's with Zelda, I've started to act like a grown-up man. And it's about time, isn't it? I'm calm, I'm secure, I'm settled.
You ain't settled, Dobe. You're like defeated, like scared, like playing it safe, and like copping out.
Thanks, Maynard. Thanks a lump.
You're like welcome. And another
Goodbye,
thing...
Maynard. Maynard was just leaving.
I was?
You were.
Oh, well, so long, Zell. So long, Dobe. Hey, I wonder how he knew I was leaving. I didn't even know I was leaving. Man, what an age we live in.
Maynard means well, but sometimes he sees things kind of funny.
Sometimes he sees things kind of better than anybody else. Dobie, why do you want to marry me?
Huh?
It's a simple question. I want to know why you want to marry me.
Holy cow, Zelda, we went through all that several thousand times.
Please tell me, Dobie. It's important.
Well, sure, if you want. We grew up together. We respect each other. We get along. We laugh at a lot of the same things. We're good for each other.
All true. Anything else?
Well, I guess I could think of some more, but
What about love?
love?
It's one word you didn't use. It's a word you've never used to me.
Well, sure, I love you, Zelda, but it's a different kind, a quiet kind, a kind you don't run around shouting about.
And you don't pinch flowers off Mrs. Trigney's front lawn for me either, do you?
Zelda.
Or write me crazy poems that don't rhyme. Or sing under my window in the middle of the night.
Zelda, that's all romantic nonsense.
Right. Maybe being romantic is something you grow out of. But how can I grow out of something I never had?
Look, I never think of doing those goofy things now. Not with you. I feel differently about you, Zelda. Grown up, mature, settled.
No, Dobie. Don't you see? I don't want you to feel grown up and mature and settled around me. I want you to feel young and goofy. I'm a girl. I'm entitled.
But I just don't feel that way about you.
Well, in that case, I just don't feel like getting married.
Zelda, wait a minute.
The wedding is off.
For how long? Till when?
Till my father has to chase you away from under my window in the middle of the night.
Zelda.
Till Mrs. Trigney has to build a great big huge tremendous fence around her flowers to keep you out. Till my mailbox is flooded with crazy poems and not one single word rhymes.
I see what you mean, Zelda.
You'll like it this way better too, Dobie dear. I'm sure of it.
Yes, Zelda. I guess maybe I will. And, Zelda, I'll let you know when to start looking under your window.
Thanks, Dobie. Dobie?
Yes, Zelda?
Don't wait too long, huh?
Oh, hi, Maynard.
Like bye, Dobe.
Bye? Maynard, I'm not going anyplace.
Sure you are, good buddy. Into the blessed state of community property.
Oh, Maynard, didn't you hear?
Oh, so I bring in my wedding presents. Like under protest.
Yeah, look,
Here's my
Maynard.
petrified frog.
Yeah.
My ball of tinfoil I've been collecting since I've been a little tiny baby. And,
Maynard, look.
my most prized possession of all. The only existing statue carved by hand out of soap of Roger Maris in civilian clothes.
Maynard, didn't you hear? We called it off. Zelda and I are not getting married. Well, what do you say to that?
Give me back my wedding presents, you false pretense.
Dobie, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, Zelda.
Small girl, what would you do if somebody gave you the only existing statue carved by hand out of soap of Roger Maris in civilian clothes?
Wash the dishes with it.
Well, buddy, when you called it off, you done good.
Sing.
Zelda, look.
Whoopsie, sing.
Zelda, you promised you'd wait till I was ready.
I am waiting.
Zelda, this is waiting.
You bet your boots. When you get that sudden urge to sing under my window in the middle of the night, I'm going to make sure you're on key, Buster.
Zelda.
Sing.
Where was I?
You were telling me I was a dope, a nincompoop, and a tin-thumbed idiot.
Right.
Mhm.
And you and I are through forever. Here's your high-Y pin and your artificial gardenia. I'd give you back your class ring, but it melted when I was washing my hands.
Look, Mary Ellen.
Don't call me. I'll call you.
Well, back to the old drawing board, huh, Dope?
Maynard, I've got no time for your nonsense. My heart's broken.
Your heart's always broken.
Well, I've got no luck with girls.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, good buddy. In fact, I think you got like a lot of luck with girls. I mean, considering the girls you chase after, the worst thing that could happen to you is if you got them.
That's not true.
Oh, yes, it is, good buddy. You want I should run through some of the names of the mean and rotten girls you've been aped for?
Maynard, I'll admit that I have occasionally made a mistake with a girl.
And I'll admit the sun rises in the east.
But I'm getting better.
Better than what?
You remember that girl I wigged for in high school, that greedy, grubby blonde with the face of an angel and a heart like a computing machine?
Oh, yeah, she was the greediest and the grubbiest. How'd you ever get mixed up with a barracuda like that?
I was young, Maynard. But today, even though I may not be the best judge of women in the world,
I'll buy that.
At least I know better than to get involved with the likes of Thalia Miniger.
You rang.
I'm a genius or an Einstein or like that, but I'm not altogether an idiot either. So how come I ever got mixed up with a girl like Thalia Miniger? Okay, so she's beautiful. So her hair's like spun gold and her eyes are like 2 teaspoons of the Mediterranean. And her lips are red and full and luscious. And her neck's like alabaster and she's round and pink and white and creamy. And I just remembered how come I ever got mixed up with a girl like Thalia Miniger.
Hello, Dobie Dumpling. It's so nice to see you again. Mwah! You too, Maynard.
You're gonna kiss me too, are you, girl?
No offense, but no.
What a narrow escape.
Well, you're going to say something?
You look wonderful, Thalia.
Thank you.
You've grown since I saw you last.
You too, Dobie. I bet you're a size 40 now.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is your lucky day. It just so happens that we're running a special on tweed jackets, hand-loomed from the cottage industries of Ireland.
Who's running a special?
Maynard, take notes, honey.
Huh?
The Pylon Sales Company, take notes.
Yeah.
We have everything. Books, appliances, wearing apparel, you name it, and we've got it.
Yeah, and you're a traveling salesman?
Well, I was. Starting next week, I'm going to be the district manager working out of Cleveland.
Then you're not going to school anymore?
Oh, Dobie, you're so silly.
Yes.
Sleeve 33, got that, Maynard?
Sleeve 33.
Thalia, what are you doing?
I'm making sure that you get a proper fit. You want a proper fit, don't you, Dobie?
Look, Thalia.
Of course you do. Chest 40, write it down.
Chest 40.
Waist 32.
Look, Thalia. Thalia.
There. Oh, my, what a trim little figure you've got, Dobie.
Oh, come now.
Maynard.
You ought to see him in the shower.
Nonsense. Dobie's turned into be a gorgeous hunk of man.
No, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either.
Write it down. Waist 32.
Waist 32.
Look, Thalia, I can't afford to
To
buy...
pass up a bargain like this. And I'm going to be so proud of you and your new hand-loomed tweed jacket when you take me out Friday night.
You're going out with me Friday night?
Well, of course I couldn't resist a gorgeous hunk of man like you in a hand-woven jacket and a necktie hand-woven by the Navajos.
Thalia, I haven't got a necktie hand-woven by the Navajos.
You don't?
No.
Oh, Maynard, write it down. 6 neckties.
6
And 6 pocket handkerchiefs for lard.
Yeah, what's foulard?
You don't know what foulard is?
Uh-uh.
Write down 1 dictionary. We've got that, too.
Yeah.
We just have
Look,
everything.
Thalia, I'll buy the jacket and the ties and the dictionary.
And the handkerchiefs
And the
for lard.
handkerchiefs for lard. But first, I want you to answer a question for me.
What?
This. Haven't you learned anything in the last few years?
Of course I have. I've learned salesmanship, double-entry bookkeeping, cost accounting, amortization,
No, Thalia, you
investment
haven't learned a
counseling.
thing. You're still the same.
Same what?
The same greedy, grubby, money-grasping chick you always were. No offense.
No offense. I'm plenty offended. It just so happens that I don't care a thing about money.
You? Oh, come now.
Well, I don't. Not for myself, that is. I've got to think about my family.
Now, I know. Your father's 60 years
Has a
old and
kidney
has a
condition.
kidney. And your mother isn't
getting any younger.
And your brother shows
every sign of becoming a public
charge.
charge. So you see, it's up to me, Dobie. I'm the only asset my family has. This hair, these eyes, these teeth, this face, this body. Take it away and they're ruined.
You're all heart, girl.
Yes, I know. Dobie, darling, I'll see you Friday night.
Yes, Thalia.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
And I know you're going to be right on time.
Because you're selling me a new watch.
Good thinking. Bye, Dobie.
Bye, Thalia.
Poor Dobie.
What do you mean, poor Dobie?
You're hooked all over again on that greedy, grubby chick.
Maynard, if there's one thing I'm not, it's hooked by Thalia Manager.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, yes, I am. Between the time I saw Thalia Manager on campus and Friday night when we had our date, I made up my mind that I wasn't going to get hooked again. I was going to play it cool, calm, casual, composed. Thalia, I love you.
That's nice.
Oh, I know you don't care anything about me.
No, I love you, too.
To you, I'm just another... excuse me, would you mind repeating that last statement?
I said I love you.
You're kidding, of course.
I wish I were, but I've always loved you.
You did a fine job of concealing it.
Because I had to. If it were up to me, I'd have been yours long ago, but I can't think only of myself.
I know your father's kidney condition.
That's right.
Isn't it getting any better?
Well, I don't know, but it's hardly the kind of thing you talk about here, is it?
I guess not.
Well, I decided to put you completely out of my mind, and I thought I'd done it till I saw you the other day. And I knew it was still you.
Thalia, my darling.
Dobie.
Yes, Thalia.
You know I use my hands for emphasis when I'm talking.
Oh, sorry. I
Let go.
forgot. Yeah.
I dropped you once, and I can do it again.
But you love me.
Love doesn't butter any parsnips.
Thalia, I'm never going to have any money.
Well, certainly you aren't. What are you taking at college?
Oh, some wonderful courses. English literature, Etruscan art, medieval history.
Well, from this you won't make a dime.
Hey, that's not the point. The point is that I'm broadening my horizons and lengthening my vistas and learning about truth and beauty and becoming a more complete human being.
What you're becoming is an educated bum.
Hey, now, Thalia.
Now, nothing. The semester is over in a few days. Why don't you quit school?
Quit school?
Of course. Become a salesman. You'd be great. Look at that face. No cunning, no guile. Just an open, empty blank.
Thanks so long.
People have got to trust you. I mean, they take one look at you and they know that you can't outsmart them.
You'll turn my head with praise.
Now, listen. I'm going to be the district manager of the Pylon Sales Company. You take a job with me and quit school.
Quit school?
You already did that.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, look, I can't quit school. How about truth and beauty?
How about these lips and these eyes?
I don't know, Thalia. I just don't know.
All right. I'll be in town for a few more days. You think it over. And while you're thinking it over, I'd like you to remember something.
What, Thalia?
This.
And so I searched my soul. Should I quit school and become a salesman? Should I stay in school and search for truth and beauty? I looked into my heart, and what I saw there were two faces. One face belonged to Thalia Manager. Gorgeous, pink, white, creamy, dreamy Thalia Manager. The other face I saw, I'm bound to admit, was somewhat less attractive. Mr. Pomfret, I admire you, and I'm on your side. I believe in ivory towers and being a seeker of truth and beauty.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Dobie.
Yeah, but there's this girl I'm in love with, Thalia Manager.
Oh, yes, Miss Buy Now and Pay Later.
Yeah, Thalia wants me to forget about poetry and dreams and start earning a living.
I live in an ivory tower because I like the view. But believe me, comes the first of the month, and my tower is carpeted in unpaid bills, wall to wall.
But you wouldn't change things.
No, I wouldn't. Though I must confess now and again to a lunatic craving to see what my wife would look like in a new dress.
And you don't want me to change either.
No, I wouldn't, Dobie, especially not you. I want you to go on writing poetry and dreaming dreams and taking wildly impractical courses.
Then you advise me to stay in school.
Yes, I do. But remember, I'm prejudiced in favor of the academic life.
Well, who else can I go to for advice?
Well, there must be somebody close to you that you can talk to about it, someone who knows you and wishes you well.
You like my dad, you mean?
Well, yes, but of course, being your father, the last thing in the world he'd want is for you to quit school.
You gotta quit school.
But Dad.
Never mind the but Dad stuff. It's getting to be as bad as your mother's now, Herbert.
Now, Herbert.
Now, Minnie. Look, your son came to me and asked for some honest, unbiased, objective, calmly thought out advice. And I am going to give it to him. Son, smarten up, get a job.
Oh, I still have things to learn in college.
Oh, he sure does. He still has to learn about Japanese finger painting and wildlife in Minnesota and about a bunch of Greek statues that aren't even all in one piece. And this is going to help him earn a fat lot of bread.
Dad, man does not live by bread alone.
Oh, that he does not. He has to have butter and eggs and milk and meat and maybe once in a while a new suit of clothes that his poor old dad shouldn't have to pay for.
Especially when his poor old dad's a miser. No offense.
Well, sir, it was a pretty good fight for a while. Dad was slugging as usual, and Mom was dazzling him with footwork as usual. And all in all, it was a pretty even battle. Then Dad brought in some reinforcements. And from then on, it was strictly no contest.
Well, what's more beautiful than being a salesman? Think about it. When you walk into a place and then you walk out knowing that you've sold something to somebody who wouldn't have bought it unless you'd walked in. Now, that's beauty.
Oh, that certainly is, Thalia.
But Mr. Pomfret...
Oh, Pomfret, what does he know? He's a teacher.
And a darn good one, and the wisest man I know, and he thinks I should stay in school.
Well, of course he does. School is his whole life. He doesn't know about the world.
Look, son, I don't want to knock Pomfret, too. He's a great man, but Thalia is right. All he knows about is what goes on inside those ivy-covered walls.
Dobie, you say Mr. Pomfret is the wisest man you know. Now, if he told you to be a salesman, would you be one?
But he told me to stay in school.
I know, but maybe he didn't really understand. You see, if someone explained the facts to
you, for instance?
Me, for instance.
You're going to talk to Mr. Pomfret?
Yes, and I'll leave it entirely up to him, okay?
That sounds fair.
Oh, it certainly does.
Good buddy, you know what you are?
Dead.
Dead.
Hello, Mr. Pomfret. Remember me?
Thalia Manager. How could I forget?
My, you're looking well.
Me? Oh, come now.
Well, let's put it this way. You haven't changed.
Not even my jacket.
Which reminds me, we are running a special this month on tweed jackets, hand-loomed by the cottage industries of Ireland.
How nice.
You'd look great in a new tweed jacket.
I'd look great in a new anything.
Here, why don't you look these over?
Thank you. These I can afford. The jackets, no. I hope you haven't come here to sell me something, Thalia.
No.
Or to collect money that I owe for something I bought?
No.
In that case, sit down.
I came to talk to you about Dobie Gillis.
That's what I figured.
Now, I'll get right to the point.
Let me help you. You want Dobie to be a salesman. He's eager, friendly, honest, decent, frank. In short, he has everything it takes to make a good salesman, right?
I'm so glad you agree.
Yes, I agree that Dobie has everything it takes to make a good salesman. And if you want him to quit school and go to work for you, I'll fight you to the death. Excuse me. Pomfret here. Oh, yes, Dean. I talked to the Maintenance Workers Union. They've agreed to an arbitration. Well, we'll get together early tomorrow morning. I think I should have it wrapped up by noon. Oh, thank you, sir. Bye. Yeah, well, even these halls of ivy have their little labor problems. I act as a kind of unofficial mediator. Now, about Dobie Gillis.
Look, you've agreed that Dobie'd make a wonderful salesman.
Yeah, but why can't he finish college first? Pick up a little culture.
Well, I'm all for culture. Why, at our sales meetings every month, we have a wonderful talk by some successful banker with picture slides and color.
Sounds Jim Dandy. Look, Thalia, maybe Dobie is cut out to be a salesman. But right now he's on the threshold of great discoveries. The whole world of truth and beauty is opening up to him. Now, how can you take him away from that and make him into a doorbell pusher?
What's wrong with pushing doorbells?
Excuse me. Pomfret here. Oh, yeah, the bid on the new lab. All right, go ahead. I'm listening. What? $12.80 a square foot. Oh, they got to be out of their minds. No, that's way out of line. You tell them they have to submit another bid, or we'll take our business elsewhere. You're right. Bye.
You wear a lot of hats for a college professor.
Oh, I just double in brass as a purchasing agent. Now about Dobie.
Let's table Dobie for a minute, Mr. Pomfret. Would you mind telling me exactly how much money you make a year?
I certainly would. I'd mind telling anybody. Why do you ask?
Well, this may sound awfully fast, but that's how I operate. How would you like to come and work for the Pylon Sales Corporation?
Me, a salesman?
No, on an executive level.
Well, I'm flattered, of course, but I'm a teacher.
And a labor arbitrator and a cost computer. Men like you don't grow on every bush.
Well, my wife and children would probably hate me for this, but no, thank you.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. Now, if we could get back to Dobie Gillis.
All right. Dobie says you want him to stay in school.
That's right. And I'll continue to say it as long as there's breath in this underpaid body.
What is Dobie to you?
He's a student.
Exactly. And you have hundreds of students, and I know you care about them, all of them, but not the way I care about Dobie. To me, he's not just a face in the crowd. He's the only face. Don't ask me why, but he's the one I want.
You really love this boy.
Yes.
And if he wants to stay in college, you won't wait for him?
I can't. There's my family.
Oh, yes, your father's famous kidney condition.
I just can't wait. I'm almost 20.
Good heavens, and you still get around without a cane?
I know it sounds silly, but I cannot wait.
But if you leave Dobie, you'll break his heart.
And mine?
Well, I'm sorry, Thalia. I just can't tell Dobie to quit school.
All right, thanks for your time.
Now, wait a minute. I can't tell Dobie to quit, but I'll do this much for you. I won't tell him to stay, either. I'll tell him he has to make up his own mind, okay?
Mr. Pumpert, you're quite a fellow.
Oh, come on now. I'm just a plain, ordinary guy, wise, brilliant, astute, penetrating. In fact, in every way, I'm superior.
You think you're kidding?
Like heck I do.
All right. About that offer, that executive position, it's still open.
Well, I decline, with thanks.
Well, you don't have to give me an answer right now. I'll be in town till tomorrow morning. Now, you take my card and call me if you change your mind.
That's not a chance.
I don't know. You're full of surprises. Bye.
Dear Mr. Pomfret, no doubt it's an oversight that we've not yet received payment on our bill of 3 months past. We beg to remind you that legal action is contemplated.
Mr. Pomfret didn't say stay, and he didn't say go. He left it all up to me. So I've decided to quit school and become a salesman. Yeah, me. Pretty weird, you say? Well, if you ask me, I'd say the same thing. But nobody asked me. They told me. Thalia told me. My mother told me. But most of all, my father told me.
No, Dobie. That is not the way Thalia told you to do it. Now, let's try it again, huh? And this time put a little more pizzazz into it. Now, remember, you're going to ring the doorbell, and a young housewife is going to come and answer the door. Now, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Bring!
Yes?
Good morning, ma'am. I represent the pylon...
When you say that, smile, boy. Smile while you're saying it.
I represent the pylon sales...
Put your foot in the door like I showed you.
Dad, I don't want to force my way in where I'm not welcome.
You're welcome. You represent a big, important company. Now,
Why,
go ahead.
certainly. Remember, you are a salesman, not some sloppy kook who just wandered in off the street.
You rang?
No, nobody rang, Maynard.
Hey, good buddy, you want to come downtown and watch him knock down the old Endicott building?
No, you can't now.
I mean, you're leaving town tomorrow. It's the last time you see that old ball go...
No, we're busy.
Cut that out, will you? Dobie ain't got time for that kid stuff anymore. He's got a whole new life opening out in front of him. He's going to be hard-hitting and aggressive and resourceful and successful and miserable.
Dear, I finally managed to get your suitcase shut, but I couldn't find room for these books.
What book?
From my English course, Dad. Just some poetry.
Poetry? Do you want the rest of those guys to think you're some kind of a nut or something?
Dad, look, Dad.
Never mind, darling. I'll send them on to you afterwards, after you've made a good beginning.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Think of it, my little Dobie starting his career. He's going to be a salesman.
Yeah, with a corner office someday.
Air conditioned.
And a private secretary.
And a sign with gold letters on the door.
And it says, gentlemen.
This is it. This is the last time in my life I'll be standing here.
The moving finger, whatever that is, hasn't written yet. You can still change your mind and
No,
still
the
keep
die is
digging truth and
cast.
beauty. I mean, I don't dig it so good myself, but it's kind of nice to have around.
Here, look, Major.
And, Dobe, how about all them professors that teach us about truth and beauty? I mean, they're really nice guys, you know. They have to be nice to put it with me, true?
True. No offense, but true.
Yeah, and how about Mr. Pomfret? I mean, maybe he grumbles and he grouches, but, I mean, you see that light up there? That's his office. I mean, he's still up there working at this hour.
Yeah. Maybe I ought to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, I think you ought to. I mean, just because you're walking out like a dirty skunk is no reason you shouldn't be friendly.
Yes, dear, I'll be home soon. I'm just going over the monthly bills. No, not paying, just going over them. Oh, now, don't worry, dear. We'll manage somehow. Yeah, all right. Goodbye, dear. Is Miss Thalia manager there? Oh, well, when do you expect her in? Well, would you ask her to call Professor Pomfret at the college, please? Yeah, thank you, and I'll wait for her call. Oh, Dobie.
I saw your light on.
Oh, well, I'm glad you did. Come on in, Dobie.
Oh, thank you,
Sit
Mr.
down.
Pomfret. Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Mr. Pomfret, I'm here to say goodbye. I'm quitting school to take a job.
Oh?
I'm going to be a salesman with the Pylon Sales Company.
Well, that's very interesting.
Honest, I'd like to stay in college learning about truth and beauty and like that, but I've got to think about my future.
Of course you do, Dobie.
Mr. Pomfret, you don't really mean that.
Oh, yes, I do. Heaven knows I value the liberal arts, and I'd like you to finish school, but, well, we all have to be practical.
You're not just saying that to make me feel better.
No, not at all. There's nothing wrong with a business career, and from what I hear, Pylon is a real live wire outfit.
Mr. Pomfret, you're a wonderful man. I wish I could be like you.
Oh, come now, Dobie.
No, I mean it, sir. You're a dedicated person, a scholar with integrity.
Dobie.
Sure, you struggle to make ends meet, but that's not important to you. What's important is truth and beauty and getting young people to appreciate it.
Well, Dobie, I'm
I'll
not
always
really
remember
as...
you, Mr. Pomfret. No matter how rich and successful I get to be, I'll always remember what I missed by leaving college.
Dobie, what will you miss?
Oh, lots of things. The lectures in class and the bull sessions afterwards in the cafeteria. Yeah, and the football games and the pep rallies and the pretty girls at the proms. And the homework even. And the goosebumps I get sometimes from listening to a poem or a symphony. And I'll miss sitting on the mall just feeling glad to be part of all this. And you know something, Mr. Pomfret? I just decided the Pylon Sales Company can go jump in the lake.
Good for you.
Even if it means losing Thalia and having my dad break me into little pieces.
Dobie, this calls for a celebration, and I'm treating.
Don't lose your head, sir.
My boy, I'm going to buy you the biggest hamburger that you've ever seen.
Your phone, Mr. Pomfret.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Aren't you going to answer it?
No, I know who's calling, and she's got the wrong number. Boy, has she got the wrong number.
Cheer up, good buddy.
Cheer up, he says. What's there to be cheerful about? I'll never see Thalia again.
Sure you will. She'll probably be back in the spring to say a lightweight suit.
Oh, Thalia. Thalia, I'm so glad to see you, even if it's only for a minute.
Dobie.
Try not to think too badly of me, Thalia. I only did what I had to
Dobie.
do. And I want you to know that even though you may be in Cleveland and I may be here, we will always be together, you and I, right here in my heart.
Dobie, I'm not going. I'm staying right here. I've enrolled in S. Peter Pryor Junior College.
Thalia, is it true?
It's true.
Yeah, but what about your father, his
Kidney condition?
Yeah.
Well, that's all cleared up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Actually, he never did have a kidney condition. All these years he's been going around with his pants buttoned to his vest.
Then you and I are going to be together, both members of the freshman class.
Uh-huh.
So what do you got in the suitcase?
Freshman beanies at $1.98 a piece.
Thalia, I'm so glad to see you. I'll take one. Have you got change for a $5?
Oh, you know me better than that.
that's all you know about it. I, honest Dobie Gillis, am no stranger to crime. I've lived with sin and corruption. You don't believe it, do you? Of course not. Nobody believes that a sweet kid like me could ever do anything mean, low, and underhanded.
I believe it, good buddy.
How can you say such a thing?
You just open your mouth and out it comes. I believe.
Maynard.
I know, Dub, I know. I mean, I know you're like honest and decent and loyal and true blue and kind and a real human being.
Thank you, Maynard.
But on the other hand, you're also sneaky, mean and rotten and kind of a skunk.
How can I be both?
Well, it's easy. With me, your friends, your parents and teachers, I mean, you're a real American and heck of a good sport. But with chicks, you're a pluperfect fink.
What are you talking about? I love chicks.
Yeah, Dope. That's why there's nothing you won't do to get one.
Well, I'll admit that in the past I have done a few shabby things to get a girl.
Yeah, like lying and robbing and stealing and
but
breaking.
it was all for love, Maynard, and anyhow, that's all over now. I'll never chase another girl again.
Oh, you're gonna live in a cave and become a helmet.
Yeah, Maynard, that's hermit. You don't understand.
You not chasing chicks? No, I don't understand. Clue me.
Yeah, does that answer your question? My darling.
My angel.
My goodness.
Maynard, this is Giselle Hurlbut.
How do?
Like, hi.
Have you ever seen anything more beautiful in your life?
Oh, sure, lots of things. Let's see.
Giselle.
My litter of baby ducks, my souvenir pillow from the Okefenokee swamp, my mechanical pencil that writes in 4 different
Maynard.
colors. Enough?
Good thinking.
I got one more.
Keep it.
Of course I will. You think I give away my petrified frog?
You'll have to forgive Maynard. He's a little, shall we say, eccentric.
Should we say nuts?
Yes.
All right, so I ain't so bright, but I'm brighter than you are, Dope, because I ain't in love with no chick who's gonna dump me and I don't know it.
Maynard, how innocent you are. Giselle and I love each other, don't we, my dear?
Yes, Pumpkin.
With all our hearts.
And all our souls.
And we're going to be together forever and ever.
Well, not quite that long.
Yeah, I know, my dear. It's just a figure of speech. What I meant is we're going to be together for years and years and years.
Well, not quite that long.
How soon you walking out on him, girl?
Next Thursday.
Giselle Hurlbut loved me with all her heart and soul, and yet loving me the way she said, it was Giselle who set my feet on the path to crime and degradation. She didn't mean to, of course. All she said was that she was going to walk out on me next Thursday. Well, naturally, I thought it was some kind of a joke. Giselle, I said, it can't be true.
It's true.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Giselle, you're kidding.
No, Dobie. Thursday you and I are finished.
But what have I done?
Nothing. That's just the point. Dobie, have you got any prospects or connections?
Him, oh, come now.
Have you got a bright future?
Him, oh, come now.
Are you rich?
Me, oh, come now.
What's your father do?
Mostly he yells.
Yeah, well, he's a grocer.
Sometimes he growls.
Is he a big grocer?
About 5 feet 11 in stocking feet.
Well, actually, it's not a big operation, but Dad's very well liked in the neighborhood, and Maynard enough.
So your father's got a little dinky corner grocery.
Well, who's your father?
He reads meters for the gas company.
So how come you're looking down your nose at my father?
Dobie, I'm sure your father is a very fine man.
Giselle.
Dope, can I say it?
Do you feel you must?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Would you please repeat the question?
I said, I'm sure Dobie's father is a very fine man.
Him? Oh, come now.
Feel better? I'm delighted, Maynard, if you'll excuse us. You were saying, my dear?
Honest, Dobie, I'm not looking down my nose at your father, but just think. Your father is a small-time grocer, and my father reads meters for the gas company. Well, put them together, and what have you got?
A meter reader who yells.
What you've got is a pair of paupers.
Hey, that's kind of hard to say. Peter Piper picked a pair of paupers.
The problem is I'm being terribly selfish. I'm not thinking of Alice and Phyllis.
Who are Alice and Phyllis?
My sisters. They're twins. Dobie, it was a big sacrifice for my family to send me to college. I mean, everybody sacrificed. My father and my mother and Alice and Phyllis. Naturally, I've just got to pay them back.
Like how?
Well, like finding a rich husband, so Alice and Phyllis can go to college and find rich husbands, too. And all I've got is just a couple of years, and that doesn't give me much time to find a husband. Well, let's face it, I'm never going to find a rich husband here at S. Peter Pryor. I've got to go where the money is, Radcliffe.
Radcliffe? But how are you going to find a rich husband at Radcliffe? It's a girls' school.
True, but Harvard is right next door, and that's where the money is. I mean, all those rich millionaires from the East send their sons to Harvard. It's simply crawling with young, eligible men who are just loaded with money.
And thus Giselle, sweet Giselle, good Giselle, great-hearted Giselle, led me into the dismal valley of sin and corruption. Of course, Alfred Lord Tennyson helped, too.
Alfred Lord Tennyson was perhaps best known for the stirring poem called Crossing the Bar. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. Mr. Gillis, can you explain the hidden meaning in these lines?
No, sir.
Well, try, Mr. Gillis.
If you don't mind, sir, I don't feel much like it.
This funk of yours, Mr. Gillis, and I speak as a long-time observer of your funks, can only be the result of a reverse in love. But I would remind you that in recent years you have lost girls beyond the counting of them. And still in all, your health, respiration, and color remain normal. In short, Mr. Gillis, you will recover.
Not this time, sir, because for the first time in my life, I found the real thing and lost it.
Dobie, you mustn't say that. You must think of Alice and Phyllis, who will never get to college if I don't go to Radcliffe and find me a rich husband at Harvard.
But what about us?
What about Alice and Phyllis?
What about Alfred Lord Tennyson? Now, Miss Hurlbut, I do applaud, of course, your desire to lead your sisters into a snug harbor. But this is, after all, a classroom, I think. Oh, yes, it must be a classroom. There goes the bell. All right, class, except for Mr. Gillis, dismissed.
Giselle, listen.
Please, Dobie, dear, don't make it any harder. I must do what I must do.
Mr. Gillis, Mr. Gillis. Mr. Krebs, what are you doing here?
I'm with Dobie. I mean, wherever he goes, I go. I mean, he's like my good buddy.
Very well. Mr. Gillis, Dobie, you'll forgive my getting personal, but you mustn't let this business with Giselle Hurlbut get you down. I mean, it's bound to have a bad effect on your studies, and we just can't let that happen. Not to you, Dobie. You're a very special person.
Yeah, you are a very special person, though.
Dobie, if the gruff old professor can get a little misty for a minute, I want to tell you that you are one of the most likable young men that I've ever met in my whole career as a teacher. And I don't want you to think of me as a teacher.
I don't.
Maynard. I want you to think of me as a friend. Now, you're going to do good things in this world, Dobie, and I stand ready to help you whenever I can. So please, feel free to call on me any hour, any time, any place.
Maybe the boy could come and live with us.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hello, and it's 5 o'clock.
Have you met Maynard Krebs, dear?
How do, dear?
Maynard, this is my wife.
Oh, excuse me. How do, Mrs. Dear?
And this is Dobie Gillis.
Yeah, how do you do, Mrs. Pomfret?
How do you do?
Don't forget, Dobie, call on me any time, any hour, any place.
Hey, how about tonight,
Yes,
Dobie? You do anything tonight?
No, but the professor is. So long, troops.
Yeah, goodbye, Mrs. Pomfret.
Goodbye, dear.
Maynard.
Leander, you know I hate to complain.
But you manage, don't you, my
Well, I'm sorry, sweetie. I mean, I know that teaching is a calling and not a business, and I know that you are dealing in human souls, and the work you do is the most important in the world. I mean, I know all that. I should. You tell me every night.
But it's true, Maude.
Yes, and it's also true that you spend all day here, and when you come home, you always have papers to prepare, exams to correct, or lectures to write. When you come home, that is. I mean, half the time you spend the nights here going to faculty meetings. Leander, do you know the last time we went to a movie together?
I don't remember.
Well, neither do I. Do you know something? They say that movies talk now. Boy, I sure would like to see one sometime.
Well, I'll make it up to you, Maude.
Yes, you will. Tonight. I got a sitter for the kids, reservations for dinner, and 2 tickets to a movie, a talking movie.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Yeah, but I have a dean's meeting tonight, and then later I have to prepare the exams.
And tomorrow you have to correct them.
Well, of course.
And Saturday.
That's the intramural softball
And
finals.
Sunday.
The Glee Club recital.
And Monday
It's
is school again.
Now, Maude, you don't regret it, do you?
Oh, heck no.
Good.
No, I mean, I have my memories. Will you ever forget that crazy, mad weekend in 1947? Just the 2 of us, laying linoleum.
Come here, teacher's pet.
Hey, watch your glasses.
Maynard, I'm not going to do it.
Good for you. Not gonna do what?
I'm not going to let Giselle get away from me.
You got no choice. Comes Thursday, she's running off to Radcliffe.
That's right, but I'm going to Harvard so I can be near her.
And how, pray tell, are you getting the money to go to Harvard?
From my father.
Him? Oh, come now.
Maynard, I figured out a very ingenious plan.
You got a plan to get money from your father?
I have.
And you think it'll work?
Maynard, when I spring this plan on my father, it's absolutely inevitable. He'll send me to Harvard.
Send you to Harvard? To the hospital I'll send you.
Dad, you haven't thought it through.
I've counted it through, boy. You are not talking to Herbert T. Millionaire, you know. You are talking to Herbert T. Corner Grocer with the sore feet and the tired bank account, and the answer is no.
Dad, I know it's expensive to go to Harvard.
Then how come you don't know better than to ask me?
Look at it this way. It's an investment in my future.
What future?
That's just it. If I stay at S. Peter Pryor Junior College, what kind of future have I got?
Dim, boy. Dim.
But if I go to Harvard, I can really take advantage of my one asset.
And what is that one?
Dad, do you like me?
Have I got a choice?
No, I'm serious, Dad. Forget that you're my father.
Oh, I've tried.
If I was just a fella, no relation, would you like me? Tell the truth.
Of course I'd like you, son. You're a nice kid.
Okay, Dad. Now, you like me. Maynard likes me.
Maynard. Now, there is a reliable witness.
The guys in school like me. The guys in the Army like me. You know why? Because I'm likable.
Okay, boy, you're likable. Give me a kiss and let's get to work, huh?
Dad, pay attention. The guys at S. Peter Pry are all wonderful. I'm not knocking them, you understand, but they come from plain people, just like I do.
So that's where you belong. Why do you want to go messing around with these hoity-toity mental types at Harvard?
Think, Dad, think. I go to Harvard, right?
Wrong.
Okay, so there I am at Harvard, right?
Wronger.
So they put me into a dormitory. Naturally, I've got a roommate. Now, who's this roommate going to be? Not the son of a grocer or a plumber or a meter reader. This roommate's going to be a rich man's son. You follow me?
No, and I don't know as I want to.
Just picture it. Me, likable me, sharing a room with a rich millionaire's son. Well, naturally, he's got to like me, seeing that I'm so likable. And then one day, his father comes to visit, and he starts to like me, too. This likableness kind of piles up. And before you know it, he offers me a job starting at, say, $20,000 a year. His son will insist on it, seeing that I'm so likable. Well, after that, it's only a matter of time. From 20,000 to 30,000, pretty soon 40, 50,000, 60, way up there I'll be. Dad, I'd like you to meet my roommate, Henry Cabot Lute Jr.
Oh, enchanté.
Enchanté. And his father, Henry Cabot Lute Sr.
Enchanté.
Gillis, I'm a blunt and direct man. I didn't get to be president of Amalgamated, Consolidated, Universal, Global, Worldwide Industries by beating around the bush. I'll come right to the point.
Enchanté.
I gave your son Dobie a little job at $20,000 a year because, well, he's a likable cuss and he's a good friend of my boy. But it was Dobie's own drive, initiative, and spunk that carried him through to his present position as vice president in charge of marketing dynamics, raw data integration, and point-of-sales promotion at a salary of $1 million a year.
Enchanté.
Dad, what's the matter? Dad?
Son, what are you doing standing there wasting your time?
Wasting my time?
Sure, you're just standing there, and who do you think you're waving at when you should be getting ready to go to Harvard?
Harvard?
Sure, you know, boola boola.
Dad, that's the Yale song.
Yale, Harvard, what difference does it make? They both mean money, right? Right, so come on, let's go. Boola
Dad.
boola, off to school, doo-doo-doo.
Like, hi, good buddy.
Oh, Maynard, it's wonderful to see you, and goodbye.
What are you doing?
Waiting for Giselle, and goodbye.
Gee, I'm glad you ran into me.
I ran into you?
Because I got to tell you something. Dobe, you're going off to Harvard, and you're going to leave your dear friend Maynard G. Krebs all alone behind. And I know you feel bad about it, but you mustn't worry, because I'll get along fine without you.
I'm glad, Maynard. What'll you do?
Cry.
Listen, Maynard, you're my best friend in the world, and if a man could speak, I'd tell you just how much you mean to me. But let's face it, we won't always be together. Someday soon I'll be getting married.
What's the problem? I'll move in with you.
Maynard, it's just barely possible that my wife won't want you living with us. Then what?
Gee, that's rough, Dobe. And there's only one thing to do. It's rough, but you're right. It's got to be done.
That's right.
We get rid of her.
Hi, Dobie.
Ah, Giselle, my angel, my tiger, my dove.
Dobie, I've explained to you that it's all over. Now, what's this urgent message you sent me?
Only this. When you go to Radcliffe, I'm going to Harvard. What? Aren't you delighted?
Well, I don't quite know. I mean, I'm going away to find a rich husband. And who will I find? You.
Ah, but once I get to Harvard and make friends with all those rich, important guys, which of course I will, being such a likable cuss, then I'll get rich too, don't you see?
That's right, you will.
Of course I will.
Oh, for joy.
And then we'll get married and take care of your sisters, Alice and Phyllis.
And me too. I'll come live with you. I mean, I don't need much room, just a little place for my bongos and my hi-fi and my baby ducks and my human skeleton and my iguana. And he don't eat too much.
We'll talk about that later, Maynard.
Much later.
Well, my dear?
Well, Dobie, I think it's wonderful because you know I love you.
And I love you.
And I love my iguana.
You can get your transcript in a couple of days.
My what?
Your marks. They'll be coming out the day after tomorrow. Well, naturally, you'll need a record of your marks here at S. Peter Pryor in order to get into Harvard.
Yeah, naturally, yeah.
But it's just a formality. I'm sure you'll get a good high average.
How high does my average have to be?
Oh, a B should do it.
Goodbye, Harvard. Hello, Pryor.
Does it have to be a B average? Couldn't it be a little lower?
Something like an F+?
Dobie. You are doing well in your studies, aren't you?
No, not too bad, except a course in poetry.
Well, so what's the problem? There's an exam in poetry tomorrow. The early works of Alfred Lord Tennyson. All you have to do is get a real high mark and you'll be home free.
Well...
You'll do it, won't you, Dobie?
Well...
For me? Oh, come on.
Well, yes, Giselle, for you I will.
Of course you will.
Like heck you will.
You remember what I said about crime, how a sweet kid like me tumbled into a life of sin and degradation. Well, here it comes now. First, let's establish the scene of the crime. It happened in the home of my teacher, Mr. Pomfret.
I have just finished preparing the questions for tomorrow's final exam in poetry. I am now as free as a bird. And I, my love, I'm going to take you to the last show at the Bijou, which starts in exactly 15 minutes. I'll get my coat.
Oh, you are all heart, Leander.
Except, of course, for my giant brain.
Which isn't working too good tonight.
What's wrong?
Well, it is now 9 o'clock. Where are we going to get a sitter for those kids at this hour?
You mean it's not possible?
Not remotely possible.
Oh, Maud. Gosh, I'm sorry. I know how wretched it is for you being cooped up here all the
Oh,
time.
no. Let's not make an opera out of it.
You sure about the sitter? There must be one somewhere.
Like where? And I think I have just found the answer.
Good evening, Mrs. Pomfret.
Like hi.
Like, hi, come in, my little messengers from heaven.
Dobie, Maynard, what are you doing here at this hour of night?
Well, sir, I know it's late, and I do hate to bother you at home, but remember what you said. If I'm in big trouble, I can call upon you at any hour, any time, any place.
Yeah, you did, Mr. Pomfret. I'm a witless.
Maynard, that's witness, although you could be right.
Well, sir, there's a big exam in poetry tomorrow. True?
True.
And I've got to get a real high mark on that exam. I mean, I've just got to.
Yes, Mr. Gillis, you are in big trouble.
And so, Dobie, you thought you might get a little tutoring. Is that it?
That's it.
And you too, Maynard.
No, I'm just with Dobe. Actually, I don't want to come here at all. I want to go down to the Bijou. There's a gas of a movie there, The Monster Who Devoured Cleveland.
So I've heard. Get your hat and coat, Leander.
Now, wait a minute, my dear. You sure you know what you're doing?
I'm sure. And go. Boy, let me ask you something. Do you care about my husband? As a teacher, I mean.
Oh, I sure do, ma'am. In fact, I don't look upon him as a teacher. I consider him a friend.
Aha, you think of him as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how would you like to be a friend to him?
Well, sure, ma'am, but what can I do?
You can babysit with our children while I take Mr. Pomfret to the movies.
Oh.
Well, I try to bring a couple of hours of sunshine into that bleak and dismal life.
Yeah.
Now, boys, can you find it in your hearts to say no?
Not me, lady. I'm all heart.
Oh, I knew I could count on you. My darling, wonderful news. Dobie and Maynard have volunteered to babysit with the kids while we go to the movies.
What? I don't know.
It's all right, and hurry.
Yeah, she's right, Mr. P. The monster's probably got Cleveland half devoured by now.
Oh, good heavens, we must fly.
Okay, Maud, you win.
Oops. Listen, I've got to hide those papers on the desk. That's the test in poetry the boys are taking tomorrow.
I'll do it, honey. You go warm up the car.
Okay.
Well, boys, I'm sure you won't be having any trouble. The kids' room is up the stairs and to the left, and the refrigerator is in the kitchen, and the cookies are in the cookie jar, and God's in his heaven, and all's well with the world. Good night, my darlings.
Swell. Just what I needed. Babysitting. Maynard, on account of you, I'll never learn enough about the early works of Alfred Lord Tennyson, and I'll flunk that test cold, and I'll lose Giselle forever. Boy, life is miserable.
It sure is. I was hoping Mrs. Pomfret might be hiding something embarrassing in here. You know, like a baby picture of Mr. Pomfret on a bearskin rug. And something to blackmail him with, but there's nothing but these questions about the life and poems of Alfred Lord Tennyson.
No, my future's bleak. I'm... early works of Alfred Lord Tennyson?
Yeah, what a drag. Not even like a prison record or an old love letter or anything.
Let me see that. Test compiled by Leander Pomfret, The Life and Poems of Alfred Lord Tennyson. You are looking at a man at the crossroads. Would Dobie Gillis, honest, decent American boy, copy those test questions and start down the path to shame and dishonor? Or would he follow his basically noble, decent instincts and reject temptation? In all due modesty, may I say that there was never a moment's hesitation. It was strictly no contest. Let's do it. If it's just this one. Just one time. Yeah, just this one time. Yeah, now, let's do it.
See that Alfred Lord Tennyson symbolizes in his work impartially heaven and hell, flesh and spirit, good and evil. Class, I have the results of this morning's poetry exam on my desk. Please pick them up on your way out. And Mr. Gillis and Mr. Krebs will remain behind. The rest of you are dismissed.
Uh-oh. How well you put it.
What's wrong?
No, nothing, my dear. Just a little worried about the
You
test.
told me you answered every single question.
Oh, I did.
Well, Miss Hurlbut, 95. That's very good.
Thank you.
There are your papers, boys. Oh, why aren't you smiling? It isn't every day that someone gets 100 on a poetry exam.
Oh, Dobie, dear, you did it. Now you can get into Harvard, and I'll go to Radcliffe, and we can be together forever and ever. And I'm just so happy I could kiss you.
Yeah, Miss Hurlbut, please contain yourself. The rules about kissing in classrooms are quite specific.
I'll wait for you outside.
Yes, you do that. Well, Mr. Gillis?
Well, what, sir?
Isn't there something you'd like to tell me?
No, sir.
You're quite sure?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Mr. Krebs?
I'm with Dobie.
I see. All right, boy, that's all. You're dismissed.
Hi, sweetie. I had to take the kids to have their braces tightened. What's wrong, Leander?
Plenty.
Tell Mama.
Now, you remember last night when Dobie and Maynard were sitting for us?
Yeah?
Well, I think they found the examination questions. I think they cheated on the test.
Oh, come on, Leander. I know there are a couple of kooky kids, but cheating? What makes you think that?
Well, Dobie got 100 on the test.
Possible?
Maynard did too.
Oh, you've just won your point. Well, what are you going to do about it?
There's nothing I can do. Hurts me, Maud. Really hurts me. Thought I knew those two boys. I even thought maybe they'd picked up a few notions about honor and decency from what I taught them.
Mr. Pomfret. Mr. Pomfret, I've got to tell you something. I just can't keep it bottled up anymore. I haven't been able to eat or sleep.
Me too.
Out in the hall just now, Giselle kissed me, and even that didn't make me feel good.
Me too.
Giselle kissed you too?
No, but I wouldn't have liked it anyhow.
Boys, is there something on your conscience?
Mr. Pomfret, try not to hate us. We're not bad, just weak.
Especially me.
We cheated on that poetry exam, Mr. Pomfret. We found the questions at your house last night and looked up the answers.
Thank you, boys. You've made me very happy.
Huh?
I'll have to flunk you, of course.
This makes you happy?
Oh, of course not, Maynard. What makes me happy is that my faith in you two has been justified. I've never been so proud of being a teacher as I am right at this moment.
And I've never been so proud of being a teacher's wife.
Well, there goes Harvard.
Yep.
And Giselle.
Well, cheer up, good buddy. You always got me.
Yes, Maynard.
And you always will. I mean, it's you and me side by side for the rest of our lives.
I'm afraid so, Maynard. I'm afraid so.
And so you're not going to Harvard, huh?
No, Dad.
Me neither.
Well, Harvard's gain is our loss.
It isn't Harvard I miss, Dad. It isn't meeting all those rich kids and getting to be a rich man myself.
Is that my boy who said that?
No, Dad, it's not the money. It's something else.
What possibly could enter into an oh, what a stupid question. Who's the girl?
Her name's Giselle Hurlbut, and she's gorgeous, and she's lost to me forever.
Not lost, Dobie. I'm here and I'm yours.
Giselle, I thought you'd gone to Radcliffe.
No, Dobie, I'm not going.
But what about Alice and Phyllis?
Who? Giselle's kid sisters. They're twins. Both of them.
Dobie, you know what I told you about my father, how he works at the gas company reading meters?
Yeah.
Well, the other night he brought home 2 sniffers for supper.
Sniffers. Oh, boy, do I love sniffers. What'd you do, pan fry them?
No, Maynard. Sniffers are men who work for the gas company. They walk around in the gas main sniffing to see if there's any leaks.
Miss, continue, please. I don't know what you're talking about, but you fascinate me. So your father brought home 2 sniffers.
Yes, nice boys, just out of high school. Well, anyway, they met Alice and Phyllis in Wham. It was love at first sight. They're engaged now.
So now you don't have to go to Radcliffe and find a rich husband.
Now, I can stay right here with poor you. And what's the difference if we don't have any money? We can always live with your folks.
No, me too. Are you wondering how I got such a name? Well, I wondered too. So I went to the man who could tell me. A man who's never in doubt, who's always ready with a straight, firm, definite answer.
How should I know?
But you're my father, aren't you? You gave me that name.
Oh, not me, boy. I had another name all picked out for you. A good one. Gus. Now, there's a name.
So how come you called me Dobie?
I did not do it. She did it.
Yes, I did.
Why, Mom?
I'm sorry, Dobie, I can't tell you.
But, Mom...
It's no use, boy. I've been bugging her for 20 years, and she just won't talk. Now, Winnie, why in...
What's the difference? Why? I think Dobie's a perfectly lovely name. I can't imagine a better name than Dobie.
I can. Gus.
What? Well, that's not a name at all.
So my mother, for reasons known only to herself, decided to name me Dobie. She won't tell me why. All she'll say is that Dobie's a perfectly lovely name. Giselle Hurlbut, however, has a somewhat different opinion.
I think Dobie is icky and awful and too ridiculous.
What's in a name, Giselle? The important thing is that you and I love each other, and we always will, and after graduation, we will be married.
And after we're married, what?
Bliss, happiness. You and I, hand in hand, walking through fields of wildflowers.
No, my friend. After we're married, you're going to get a good job with a good corporation and work your way up to a vice presidency. And we're going to move into a split-level house in the suburbs and have 3 children, two boys and a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm going to join the PTA and the Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
And someday my picture will be on a society page pouring tea for some worthy organization. And what's it going to say under the picture? Mrs. Dobie Gillis? How can you do that to the woman you love? And what about yourself? You go to work in a big corporation. You want to become vice president. The manager takes one look at your name. Do you think he's going to put a name like that on a vice president's door?
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the greatest name in the world, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, there most certainly is.
Like what?
Like change it.
Change my name?
Lots of people do.
Sure, movie stars, people like that, but not people.
No, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to the judge and fill out some papers.
Giselle, I can't.
You say you love me.
Oh, I do.
And you say you climb the highest mountain
And
for me?
swim the deepest river. And...
I know. And bring me moonbeams in a jar. And the perfumes of Arabia and the pearls of the Orient.
Right.
So why don't you go change your name?
I don't know, Giselle. It seems so kind of weird and spooky and unnatural.
You rang?
No, Maynard, I didn't ring.
Boy, am I glad I found you, good buddy. Got some real good, important news for you.
Here, go away, Maynard.
No, Maynard, don't go.
I wasn't going to, girl. He's always telling me go away. It's like rough, manly humor, isn't it, good buddy?
No, it isn't, good buddy.
I want to ask you a question.
Shoot.
Yeah, you're going to regret this, Giselle. See, these people already regret it.
Your name was Dobie Gillis. Wouldn't you change it?
I sure would. That's a crazy name.
See?
I'd change it to Dobie Sigafoose.
Right.
In fact, I changed Dobie, too.
Aha!
Aha, Sigafoose? No, I don't think so. I think it was something like Leon.
Goodbye, Maynard.
Some more rough, manly humor, huh, Dove?
Yeah, you're not going, are you, Maynard?
Good thinking.
Come, my dear, to a secret place I found just built for 2.
I'm not going anywhere now or ever with Dobie Gillis. Dobie, indeed. I'm giving you exactly 24 hours to go to the judge and change your name to something normal and reasonable. 24 hours. Now make up your mind. Will you or won't you?
Look, can't we talk this over?
We have talked it over. And over and over and over. The time for talk is past. If you love me like you say you do.
Yo, I do. Yes, I do.
Then you'll, meet me here tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll do
with
it.
a brand new name?
Mm-hmm. I'll do it.
I hope you mean it.
No, I mean it.
I'll see you tomorrow.
No, I'll be here.
With a new name?
With a new name. With a new... 24 hours. That isn't much time to think of a new name.
What's the problem, good buddy? I already got one picked out.
Like Maynard?
Good thinking.
But if I was Maynard and you were Maynard, how would we know which was which?
You got a point.
So have you, Maynard, right on top of your head.
Some more rough, manly humor, huh? Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry, Maynard. I didn't mean to insult you, but she's got me all shook up. Now, be a good fella and flake off, will ya? I've got to think.
Yeah, me too. Now, let's see. What'd be a good name for you? How about Milton?
No, Maynard.
Leroy? Julius? Hey, I got it. Wenceslas.
Now, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, he was a good king, Wenceslas. You remember the song? Jingle bells, good King Wenceslas went fa la 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 la.
Maynard, Merry Christmas and goodbye.
Some more rough, manly humor, huh, good buddy? Gee, how did a jolly jokester like you get mixed up with Dr. D.W. Klein?
Maynard, what are you talking about?
He sent you a telegram.
The Dr. D.W. Klein?
Yeah, the guy whose picture's always in the paper giving advice to presidents, inventing the atom and stuff like that.
You mean Dr. D.W. Klein, the scientist and humanitarian and Nobel Prize winner?
Yeah, him.
What's Dr. D.W. Klein got to do with me?
I just asked you, good buddy. You gotta learn to listen.
Yeah, I'm listening.
He sent you a telegram. Mrs. G told me to bring it over to you.
Yeah.
Mrs. G, that's your mother.
Yeah.
And Mr. G, that's your father.
Yeah,
and Dobie G, that's you.
I know all that. Here, let me read it.
You don't have to, Dobie. I already steamed it open. It wasn't easy. I used cold water. It says, Dear Dobie, most urgent you come to New York tomorrow to see me. We have much in common to talk about. Signed, Dr. D.W. Klein.
That's exactly what it says.
What does he mean you have much in common to talk about?
I don't know, Maynard. What could Dr. D.W. Klein possibly have in common with me?
Your name.
I don't get it.
Yeah, what's the idea, Winnie?
Yeah, Winnie.
Maynard.
Come on, Mom, let's hear it.
The D in Dr. D.W. Klein's name stands for Dobie. Dr. Dobie W. Klein.
And you named me after him?
That's right.
Yeah, you had to pick the D. Why didn't you pick the W?
The W stands for Willis.
Willis Gillis?
Exactly. So you see why I had to pick Dobie.
No, I don't see, Mom. Why'd you name me after this man in the first place?
Yeah, get to the point, Winnie.
Yeah, Winnie.
Maynard.
Dobie, about 2 weeks before you were born, I read in the newspaper about Dr. Klein. He had just been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. But the article said that he was not just a great physicist. He was also a great humanitarian and philosopher. And he did all kinds of good things for people and served on important committees and worked day and night to make the world a better place.
Gee, I'm getting all misty.
Well, I wrote Dr. Klein a letter, and I asked him if he would mind if I named my baby after him. Provided, of course, that it turned out to be a boy.
Did it?
Well, he wrote back, oh, it was such a lovely letter, and he said that he didn't have any children of his own, and he would be delighted to have me name my boy after him on one condition. He wanted to know all about Dobie's progress in the world, and he asked me to write him letters about everything that happened to Dobie. His first tooth, his birthdays, his friends.
That's good.
His marks at school.
That's bad.
But, Mom, how come you never told us any of this?
Well, frankly, I was a little embarrassed. I mean, doesn't it seem kind of hoity-toity? Me, a simple housewife, and Dr. Klein, one of the greatest men in the world? It seemed, well, a little immodest of me to name my boy after such a great man. But after all, Dr. Klein doesn't seem to mind, does he? He sent you a telegram asking to see you, didn't he?
Okay, Winnie. You naming the boy after a great man like Dr. Klein, this I can understand. And you being a little embarrassed to tell about it, this I can understand. But him sending a telegram inviting Dobie to New York, this I don't understand.
The answer is right here in the evening paper.
Dr. D.W. Klein forsakes world. The great scientist and humanitarian Dr. D.W. Klein today announced his permanent retirement from the civilized world. He did not divulge his future plans, but sources close to the eminent physicist say that he intends to retire to the unexplored jungles of Brazil and establish a hospital among the savage tribes there.
You see, Dr. D.W. Klein, possibly the greatest American, is retiring from the world, and before he goes, he wants to see our son. Isn't that wonderful?
Mom, listen.
Quiet, boy. Winnie, if Dr. Klein, who is probably the greatest living American alive, asks a favor of Herbert T. Gillis, you can be sure that Herbert T. Gillis will show the good doctor, in his own small way, that he is a great American alive, too.
What are you going to do, dear?
I am not only going to let Dobie go to New York, I am to go along with him personally.
Oh, yeah, me too. I want to meet one of them city slickers and buy me some gold bricks. Oh, man, I always wanted some of them gold bricks.
Yes, perhaps you had better go along.
Yeah, turn these country boys loose in New York alone and somebody will steal their suitcases.
Mom, Dad, naturally I'd like to go to New York and meet Dr. Klein, but I can't do it tomorrow.
But it has to be tomorrow, dear. He's leaving for the jungle.
I can't. I've got something important to do tomorrow.
Like what?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain.
No, it isn't, Dobie. You have to go down and see the judge tomorrow and have your name changed.
Have you flipped your wig, gonna change your name just when it's getting you a free trip to New York? What in the world do you want to change your name for? No, what a stupid question. Who's the chick?
Her name is Giselle Hurlbut.
Her name is Giselle Hurlbut,
And she wants you to change your name?
Well, let's face it, Mr. G. Dobie is kind of a weird name. Wouldn't it be better if you had a nice name like Irving or Flicka?
It certainly would not. Dobie is a fine name, a proud name. You are going to New York tomorrow. Let's have no more nonsense about it.
But Giselle will dump me.
Look, dear, you just go to this girl and explain to her the great man that you're named after, and I'm sure she'll change her mind.
You really think so?
Why, of course, dear. You just put all the facts before her simply and clearly, and there's no question about it. She'll say yes.
No!
But Giselle, Dr. Klein's one of the greatest men who ever lived.
So was Socrates, but I wouldn't be running around with anyone named Socrates Gillis.
Look,
You've
Giselle.
got to change your name, and that's final.
You sure this is what you want?
Are you sure I'm what you want?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You sure you want these eyes
Yes,
and these lips and this
Yes.
head and this body?
Yes, 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 yes. Then I'll change
your
my name, yes.
You promise?
I promise.
That's my darling.
And that's my darling.
And here comes nobody's darling.
Maynard, what happened to you? Why do you look so fat?
Like brain power. I've been using my wits.
Like how?
Like, I remember what Mr. G...
My father.
Yeah, said about all them city slickers in New York stealing your suitcase and all like that. Well, they're not going to steal my suitcase, not Maynard G. Krebs' suitcase.
I know I'm going to regret this, but why not?
Because I ain't got no suitcase. I wore all my clothes. Yes, sir, them city slickers are going to have to get up pretty early in the morning to get ahead of yours truly, Maynard G. Shrewd.
I was
Steal
right.
my suitcase,
You regret
indeed.
it, yeah.
I'm like a walking, living suitcase. I mean, he who steals Maynard G. Krebs' suitcase has got to steal Maynard G. Krebs.
Yeah, good thinking, Maynard.
And how many people, conservatively speaking, would steal Maynard G. Krebs?
No offense.
No offense. Come on, we got to catch the 4 o'clock plane for New York.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye, Giselle.
Goodbye, and don't forget what you have to do when you come back.
Yeah, change
your
my name, yeah.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this telecast is coming to you from the anteroom of Dr. D.W. Klein in the School for Advanced Learning at Eastern University. As I look about me, I can see some of the most famous faces in this nation. Scientists, diplomats, United Nations delegates, authors. I could go on and on with the list. These people are the good doctor's friends, associates, and well-wishers who've gathered here to bid him a bon voyage to a destination unknown. Here we have Dr. Klein's longtime assistant, Dr. Charles Graham. Dr. Graham, can you tell us, sir, when we may expect Dr. Klein to come out of that door and speak to us?
Oh, you can't expect him at all. That's what I've been trying to explain to these gentlemen of the press.
Oh, surely there must be some mistake. Do you mean that Dr. Klein is not even going to say goodbye to this gathering?
Oh, the doctor will say goodbye, but only to one particular person.
And who is this person?
Well, he's some sort of a college boy, that's all I know. His name is, Dobie Gillis. And he'd better get here soon. Dr. Klein has to catch a plane in a few minutes.
Dobie Gillis, who is he?
I have no idea. Excuse me.
Think of the irony of it, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. D.W. Klein's last few minutes in the civilized world will be spent with some shadowy, mysterious youth from another world.
You rang?
Oh, dear. Are you Dobie Gillis?
Oh, dear, I'm Maynard G. Krebs.
Oh.
Kindly bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. There's some small mix-up.
Oh, there ain't no mix-up. I'm Maynard G. Krebs. Dobie took the wrong subway train, and his father went to find him. He took the wrong subway train. Then I went down the subway.
But you didn't take the wrong train.
Nope, I walked along the tracks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dobie Gillis has been detained, but while we wait for him, we'll speak to his friend, Mr. Maynard.
Are all these cat city slickers in disguise?
Not exactly, no.
Of course, I want to buy myself a gold brick to take home as a souvenir.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, shy and beardless.
Beardless? Oh, come now.
Mr. Maynard, could we have a few words on...
Well, it all depends. I only have a limited amount.
I see you have a sense of humor. Mr. Maynard, would you please stand a little closer to me so the television audience...
I'm like on television?
Oh, yes, you are, yes.
Like hi, Josie, like hi, Rosie, like hi, Hilda.
Let's get back to your friend, Dobie Gillis, now.
Yeah, my guppies.
Get back to your friend, Dobie Gillis. Why did Dr. Klein want this youth to pay him a visit? Mr. Maynard.
Oh, Dr. Klein didn't pay him. We each bought our own ticket, except my father bought mine. I've had a standing offer from my father for years. He'll pay my transportation to any place in the world, one way. Which one of these cats is Dr. Klein?
None of these cats. Is Dr. Klein. I mean, Dr. Klein is waiting in his private office. Tell us, what does Dobie Gillis's father do?
Oh, he runs the Gillis grocery store. You know, fancy fruits and vegetables and cheese that smells so bad they gotta send it out of France. Hold it!
I am the father of Dobie Gillis.
Ah, here is Mr. Gillis now. Tell us, where is your son, Dobie?
Oh, he'll be here. Got lost, huh? You never mind about Dobie. He'll be here any minute. In the meantime, I suppose you would like to have a few words from his father?
Well, we really don't.
Never mind. I'm happy to oblige. First of all, I would like to say hello to all my good friends out there in Bison Lodge number 38 who have done so much to build up the community. Oh, yes, and a little word to my good wife, Winnie. Hi, Winnie.
Now, let's get back to your son, Dobie, Mr. Gillis.
Oh, yes, my son, Dobie Gillis. Well, to understand Dobie Gillis properly, you must first understand his parents. Now, take me, for instance. His father, Herbert T. Gillis, yours truly. A modest man, an average American, but aggressive, intelligent, self-reliant, and a successful independent retail merchant, loved and respected by everyone in his community.
Oh, come now.
Mr. Quiet, sonny. Herbert T. Gillis, American, citizen, taxpayer, and a veteran. I was in WW2. That was the big one, you know. Came out of first sergeant with the good conduct medal. But I'm not taking any bows. I just did my little bit like many other fellow Americans whose grit and determination have made this country great.
Well, I finally found Dobie Gillis. Let us through, please. We only have a moment.
Dobie Gillis is here in the room with us now. Dobie Gillis, if we may ask.
Oh, I'm sorry. He can't talk now. Time is of the essence.
Oh, yeah, no more interviews, please. We gotta get right in and see Dr. Klein.
Yeah, we gotta hurry. Oh, no, not you two. Only Dobie Gillis. Dr. Klein was very specific.
Dobie Gillis, you will be the last person in the civilized world to talk to Dr. Klein. You alone will hear his final message. Remember it well. Every word. We will all be waiting.
Oh, good. You're just in time. Give me a hand with this, will you?
Sir?
Come on, why stand when you can sit? Let's try it. I think it's all right.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know where I can find Dr. Klein?
What? Oh, I'm Dr. Klein. Here, I'll split this with you.
You're Dr. Klein?
Well, don't look so unhappy, Dobie. I've had to look at this face every day for 65 years.
Oh, no, sir. I only meant that,
You know, since somebody or other gave me this sword, I knew it would come in handy someday. Oops. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't grow apples like they used to.
Oh, no, sir. No.
Dobie, you know why I wanted to see you today?
To be perfectly frank with you, sir, no, and I'm confused.
To be perfectly frank with you, son, I don't blame you. I asked you to come here because I want your advice.
My advice? Well, you're kidding, aren't you?
How about this? Here. Dobie, take a look.
This is all about me. It's all the stuff Mom's been sending you.
Right. And I have a confession. Up until a few months ago, all these mementos of your growing up didn't mean an awful lot to me. I appreciated your mother's thoughtfulness, of course, but that's about all. And suddenly it struck me that in many ways, that is the most important book that I have ever owned.
A book about me? Oh, come on now, Dr. Klein, you're just being polite. How could it be important compared to the brainy stuff that's in all these other books?
That's where you're wrong, son. These other books are about things. This book is about people. That is, a person, you. And what could be more important than that?
Dr. Klein.
Dobie, I spent a lifetime trying to make the world a better place to live in. But what is the world except the people who live in it? And what are the people who live in it except a lot of individuals like you?
But, Dr. Klein, you've done a wonderful job of making the world a better place to live.
Is it much of a place to live in right now?
Well...
The truth?
It's miserable.
You bet it is.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is that people like me who've been trying to improve life have been too busy to live it and learn what it's all about. Dobie, what's this?
That's me playing shortstop in the Little League when I was about 10. We won that game, 27-25. It was a pitcher's battle. Yeah.
When I was 10, I had no time for baseball. I was studying differential calculus. Well, what's this?
That's a picture of my high school graduation dance. Golly, failure manager. What a night that was. After the dance, we all Dr. Klein, I don't get this. What have these pictures got to do with you and with helping the world?
Dobie, at the age when you were dancing with Thalia Menninger, I was locked in a laboratory, working out a theory that only a few eggheads like me even cared about. While I was standing by observing, you were living. You were a part of life. I was outside it. Now tell me, which of us is in a better position to give advice on what the world needs?
Me? Oh, no.
You, yes. That's why I'm going back to fundamentals, to the basic primitive things. I've got to try to learn the things you already know. And that's the advice I want from you, Dobie. What does the world really want from life?
Oh, come on, Dr. Klein. What does a kid like me know about that?
Plenty, because you live life. Now speak up, Dobie. Don't be a prima donna.
Well, I guess I want what everybody wants. Happiness.
And what is happiness?
Honestly, Dr. Klein.
Don't poke along, Dobie. Get to the point.
Well, one part of happiness is having a girl.
A girl? Well, a girl, of course.
And friends, people you care about, people who care about you.
Yes, that we know.
Well, everybody wants a chance for an education so they can learn how to make a living.
True.
And they want some time to enjoy themselves after they're through working so they can make that living mean something.
Of course.
And, of course, they want peace. Peace, or else none of the rest of it means anything.
Peace? Well, we've all tried. How would you go about achieving that, Dobie?
Well, for openers, I'd try to make people be more polite.
Well, I'm all for that, but I hardly think politeness would bring about peace.
Oh, sure it would. Well, I don't mean polite only on the surface, like taking your hat off in elevators or using the right fork. I mean polite inside, in your heart. An honest respect for the other guy's feelings and opinions, even if you don't agree with him.
Uh-huh. That doesn't seem like much to ask. And yet it's everything, isn't it?
Oh, yes. And we need one more thing. One more thing. Time to dream. About better days, about a fine new world.
That's a heck of a fine dream.
It's a heck of a necessary dream because, well, we've got to dream before we can plan.
Indeed you do. Dobie, those people out there, they're waiting for some final word from me. Some memorable message.
They sure are. They made me promise to get it to them.
So you will?
Yes, sir. I'll get a pencil and write it down.
No, Dobie. You are going to give them the message, your own message.
Me? Oh, no, come on now, Dr.
You,
Klein.
of course. Dobie, you're the hope of the world. You and millions of others like you. Young enough to dream, young enough to make those dreams come true. Now go, Dobie. Give them the message they're waiting for. I'm going to sneak out the back door. Crowds bug me.
But I can't speak for you.
Says who? What they want from me, I can no longer give them. But you can. You can give them hope. Now go on, son. And son, speak up. Now don't mumble. I'm counting on you.
I wonder what's keeping my good buddy so long.
Your good buddy is ruining Dr. Klein's schedule.
Oh, he's probably in there telling the good doctor all about his folks, that's all.
Or about me, his good buddy.
Oh, I wish he... Come right over this way to the television camera. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Young Dobie Gillis has at last re-entered the anteroom from his visit with Dr. Klein. Now America and the world will hear Dr. D.W. Klein's final message to us all. Well?
Well, he said, he didn't say much. He's an awful nice man.
Yes, we all know that, Dobie, but try to be specific. We're all waiting.
Dr. Klein said,
yes,
let's
Dobie,
see,
yes.
Well, he said, be kind to each other. He said, have a dream. He said, believe in that dream. Now, I guess that's all.
Thank you, Dobie, for bringing us these final words of wisdom from one of the great souls of our time. Brave words, strong words. Mark these words well, ladies and gentlemen. Be kind to each other. Have a dream. Believe in that dream.
Giselle, I have something to tell you, and there's no use arguing because my mind's made up. I'm not going to change my name.
Okay,
It's a great name, and it belongs to a great man, and I'm... did you say okay?
That's what I said, okay.
You mean you don't care if I don't change my name?
No, Dobie. I think it's very important to stick up for the things you believe in.
Well. What made you change your mind, Giselle?
Well, you see, Dobie, I'd like you to be my fiancé. Albert Schommer Jr.
Oh, Gloria. I must have dozed off. They told me to wait
I was just picking up the coffee things in Mr. Erdlatz's office.
Mr. Erdlatz, the general manager?
Yes, and they were talking about your aptitude test.
Oh, I guess I goofed, huh? I never can do those things. In the first place, they're silly, idiotic, ridiculous.
No, you made a terrific score.
Yeah, but you gotta admit they're accurate.
I heard them say you just missed 90%.
90%.
Gillis, there you are. Last but not least. Congratulations, old man. You made the team.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Erdlatz. Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Gloria. We've been having Dobie Gillis without donuts all week. It was either hire you or lose the best little coffee girl we've ever had around Lumpkin.
Yes, sir. She's been an inspiration, sir. Well, where do I start, sir? Production? I've got a lot of zingy ideas how to double the output.
Well, no,
curve.
Gillis, it won't be
Instead,
production.
Personnel, management, public relations. The quicker I get an overall grasp of the
No,
big picture.
Gillis, no. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put you in our cutwood residue collection and relocation program.
Oh, sounds like a challenge, sir. What do I do?
You sweep up the sawdust and put it in the furnace.
Sweep? I'm a janitor?
Glad to have you aboard, Gillis.
So I took a job at the lumber company. I know what you're thinking. If I wanted to be a janitor, I could have stayed home and swept Dad's grocery store. The difference is, at the lumber company, you get paid. And besides, it was a challenge. I wasn't going to be a janitor for long, because the way I look at it, nothing can hold you back as long as you've got ambition, drive, and initiative. I was on my way to the top. What could stop me? Hi, Mr. Erdlatz.
What are you doing? What is this
Just
thing?
a little conveyor belt I rigged up, sir. It cuts sawdust burning time down 3.7 seconds.
Just a minute, Gillis. Do I understand you constructed this contraption on your own initiative?
Yes, sir, just an
Well,
experiment.
get it out of here. What do you think this is?
Sir, it didn't cost the company a cent. I get my power from this old bandsaw.
Bandsaw? Bandsaw? So this is where it is. We've been looking for this thing all over the plant. Gillis, do you realize you cost us a whole morning's production on orangewood cuticle sticks?
Yeah, but I thought...
You're not being paid to think. As a matter of fact, you're not being paid. I'm docking you 1 day's wages for this.
Yeah, but sir...
And get rid of this monstrosity!
Are you all right, Mr. Erdlatz? Are you all right, sir?
Oh, that does it.
You mean...
I mean you're fired. Gillis, take 2 laps around the furnace and turn in your broom.
Please. He was just trying to show initiative, sir.
What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in the cafeteria or something? It's almost lunchtime.
Well, yes, sir, I'm just going. Oh, and by the way, the boss's daughter's looking all over for you.
I forgot about her.
Oh, Mr. Erdlatz, how about him?
Yeah. How about him, huh?
Mr. Erdlatz, give him another chance. After all, he did get a good grade on his aptitude test.
Whoever told you that is Dingy's a clock shop.
Well, I heard you say so yourself.
Me?
Well, you said he just missed 90%.
I said he missed 90% of the question. I mean, according to our figures, you've got an IQ of about 8.7. That's just 2 decimal points lower than the garter snake.
All right, so I got a little mixed up on the true and false part.
He always puts the X's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Oh, besides, Mr. Erlath, it's practically inhuman to fire somebody after just 2 days.
Well, maybe you're right. Besides, if I fire him, who'll hire him? You become a public charge, and there go the taxes again. All right, Gillis, you're still on the team.
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me. Thank Gloria. She saved your job for you. But it's the last time. From now on, you're on your own. One more fumble, you're out of the game.
Don't worry, Dobie.
Me worry? It's little setbacks like this that make me all the more determined to claw my way to the top, even if Mr. Erlatz does think I'm some sort of a scroungy, low-down, knuckle-headed schnook.
You rang? Like hi, Dobe, like hi, Gloria. How's the big lumber typhoon?
Maynard, that's tycoon, and what do you want?
Man, Dobe, you sure are getting forgetful. You left your lunch right on the table. Your mom sent me over with it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Maynard. I'm awful hungry.
I'm not.
You're not hungry? How come?
I just ate your lunch.
Maynard!
That's all right, Dobie. You can have lunch with me in the cafeteria.
But aren't you...
I'll be finished serving in half an hour. We'll practically have the whole place to ourselves. I'll fix it up with the cook.
Oh, that's too much trouble.
But I want to. It'll be a little party, a little welcome to Lumpkin party. Whistle. I've got to fly. Stay in the cafeteria 30 minutes.
You know, Dobe, I never thought I'd ever say this about a girl, but that Gloria, she's like a real human being. I mean, she's sweet and kind and good and helpful. And if you want to go for her, you got my blessing.
Is that you talking? You, Maynard G. Krebs?
Look, Dobe, this in no way constitutes an endorsement of girls in general, just this one particular chick. I say, if you want to go steady with her, go.
Well, to tell you the truth, Maynard, we're practically going steady now. We've been out 2 nights in a row, and I like it. I'm getting sick of different girls all the time. It's ridiculous. It's for the birds. It's wow. It's wow? Yeah, boy, is it wow.
Hello, Miss Lumpkin. Can I do something for you?
As a matter of fact, yes. Mother's holding her annual Give a Basket to the Poor charity bazaar, and we need some lumber to build booths.
Why, of course, Miss Lumpkin. Just pick out anything you want, and I'll have it sent over after lunch.
But can't I take it now? I brought the station wagon. Well, all I need is one man to come along and help.
Hello, may I be of service?
Excuse me. You volunteering?
Yeah.
No overtime?
Yeah.
You'll have to go way up to Miss Lumpkin's house with her.
Yeah.
I've got your man for you, Miss Lumpkin.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Erlath. I'll go get the station wagon.
Dobe, how come?
How come what, Maynard?
How come you're getting all gussied up?
Who knows, Maynard? We might have to stop for a bite somewhere, a bottle and a bird. It is lunchtime, you know.
But what about Gloria?
Gloria who?
Gloria who? Gloria who you're never going to forget because she's so nice to you.
Don't be funny, Maynard. I know who Gloria is. I just wasn't listening, that's all.
Yeah, Gloria who's going to give you a nice little welcome to Lumpkin party.
Maynard, will you stop with the Gloria who? Just because she got me a job, you act like we're going steady or something.
But you said that you knew...
Maynard, I'm donating my lunch hour to charity. Is that a capital offense?
I bet you wouldn't be donating no lunch hour if it was for some poor old lady instead of that slick society chick whose father's going to make you into a big lumber baboon.
Maynard, that's tycoon.
No, in your case, baboon.
And do you really think I'd double-cross a nice girl like Gloria just to get to the top in the lumber business? Maynard, never mind. You just go over to the cafeteria and tell Gloria.
Tell her what?
Tell her the truth. Yeah. Tell her I'm helping a poor old lady.
Yeah, you better watch out for that poor old lady.
Go, Maynard.
No, Dope, I know the sneaky society types.
So long,
She'll
Maynard.
cream you like cauliflower, good buddy.
Goodbye already, and trust me. Ah, my dear.
Oh, excuse me. There was a workman
I
that
just
was...
slipped into something a little bit more comfortable.
Yours?
Yeah, Dobie Gillis at your service.
Oh, you're kind of cute.
And you are the sun, the moon, the stars, all miracles and legends incarnate in form divine.
Corny, but cute.
Your eyes are peak holes in the walls of heaven. Your teeth the tiny keys of some elfin celeste.
You know something?
Speak to me, sweet lips.
You're so far out, you're practically back in again. And I thought it was going to be a dull summer.
To work. Well, like I said, all you need to claw your way up that old ladder of success is ambition, drive, initiative, and American know-how. Also, it It doesn't hurt to get close to the boss's daughter.
Yes, definitely, yes.
You mean?
You fit into my plans. You're so...
Debonair?
Well, no.
Dangerous?
Not exactly.
Charming, devil-may-care?
Obsolete.
Obsolete?
What I mean is that they don't make boys like you anymore.
Thanks a lump.
Well, you're so homey and comfy. Like deep dish apple pie, galoshes.
Is that good?
Oh, for me, that's good.
Oh, Pamela.
Over here, Daddy.
Good, good. I see you got the lumber.
Thanks to Mr.
Now we can
Gillis.
start
Dobie,
building
I'd
a
like you to meet
platform
my
for the
father.
design. Oh, well, how do you do, Mr. Gillis? Did you have much trouble getting it up here?
All it took was a little ambition, drive, and initiative.
Ambition, drive?
Mr. Gillis works for your daddy, and this is my mother.
How do you do?
And just what do you do at the company, Mr. Gillis?
He's a janitor.
Oh.
But he won't be for long, will he, Daddy?
Well,
Oh, Pamela, I do wish you'd get over this Pygmalion complex of yours. A janitor, really?
I was just telling Mr. Gillis about your give a basket to the poor charity bazaar.
And I hope it's a great success, ma'am.
Well, if it is, I shall see to it personally that your family gets a nice full one.
I don't think you understand, Mother. Mr. Gillis is going to be my escort.
He is?
He is?
I am?
No, you most definitely are.
A janitor? Oh, dear. The papers, our social position, this will never do.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, putting Mr. Gillis in the Junior Executive Training Program.
Oh.
Junior Executive Training Program?
Well, I suppose it is the only answer. Woodrow?
Oh, I suppose I can hammer him in somewhere. We better go have a talk with Mr. Erdlatz.
I'm sure he'll be delighted.
What did you say your name was?
Dobie Gillis.
Dobie Gillis?
He doesn't sound too...
Oh, don't worry about a thing. You see?
Yeah.
Well, Gillis, I just told Mr. Erdlatz the good news, and he's very happy. Right, C.J.?
Well, happy isn't exactly the word.
Here, just give me the ball, sir. I'll hit the line. I'll smash through for a touchdown.
All right, Gillis. Time out, time out. Now, the game doesn't start till after lunch. See me in my office at 1.
Yes, sir. Gee, Pamela, I'll never forget you for this.
Oh, this is just the beginning. I've got plans for you, Dobie. Big plans. See you tonight.
Tonight? That'll
be what?
That'll be fine. Well, tie my shoe. I can't stand untied shoelaces. It's kind of a mania with me.
It must be.
Oh, it is, it is.
You're wearing loafers.
So I am.
See you at 8.
See you at 8.
Nutty as a Chi-Chi bird. But cute.
Oh, hi, Gloria.
Do something?
Oh, no. Look, Gloria.
Maynard told me.
Told you?
Oh, helping a poor old lady with a charity bazaar. Oh, Dobie, I think that's wonderful. You're all heart.
I am.
Just for that, you get homemade fudge tonight.
Tonight?
Well, you did say you were coming at 8, didn't you?
8 o'clock?
Oh, is that too early?
Well, no, it's fine. Except, well, you see,
Oh, well...
Dobie, instead of making it 8 o'clock tonight, let's make it 7:30. We'll catch Daddy right after dinner when he's full of food. You know, it's never too soon to start thinking about another promotion.
That'll be fine, Pamela.
See you then.
Yeah, look, Gloria, try to understand.
I do. I understand good.
Well, what are you gonna do? There I was with 2 girls more or less ape about me. On the one hand was Gloria Mundy, one of the sweetest kids who ever hit the pike. And on the other hand, there was Pamela Lumpkin. And if you don't think she's got her points, you haven't been paying attention. If I take Pamela out, I'm a heel to Gloria. On the other hand, if I take Gloria out...
You're a janitor again.
Believe me, Pamela, she's just an old friend. Don't you trust me?
Not to give you a short answer, but... No! I thought you were seeing that Gloria.
Believe me, Pamela, she's just
Gillis.
an old...
Oh, hello, Miss Lumpkin. Gillis, did you process those personal recommendations I asked for?
Oh, yes, sir. I whipped them up this morning. Here they are, sir.
Good. Keep hitting that line, Gillis. Keep hitting it hard.
Yes, sir.
You'll make the varsity yet. Gillis. Hey, I understand there's to be a prize for the best costume tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah, the charity bazaar. I hope nobody else is going. Is King Henry VIII?
Henry VIII, you, sir?
Yeah. Gillis, I understand Miss Lumpkin is going as Cleopatra, you lucky dog. Gloria, I don't want to tell you your business, but the cup goes underneath the spigot.
Here's your costume. And try to be there a little early tonight, because I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Dad had some good news for you.
Good news?
Another little promotion coming up?
Maynard, don't frighten Miss Lumpkin. Au revoir, my dear.
Like I don't. Hey, what's that?
It's my costume for the charity bazaar Mrs. Lumpkin's giving tonight.
Bazaar? I like parties better.
Maynard, a bazaar is a party.
What do you know? Can I come?
I'm sorry, Maynard. It's invitation only.
Oh, I don't mean like joining the fun with the rich people and be socially accepted. I mean like peek through the bushes.
Oh, well, I guess that'd be all right.
You're all heart, though. How can I ever thank you?
You can thank me by not bugging me during business hours. Now, what do you want, anyhow?
I'm sorry, though, but I had to see you.
What for?
Don't you notice anything different about me?
No, Maynard.
Look at my feet. I'm not wearing my sneakers. I'm wearing my old army shoes with the real hard toes. You want to know why?
No, Maynard.
Here's why. That's for being a dirty rat double-crosser and twanging on Gloria Mundy's heartstrings like they were strung on a busted-down zither.
Now, Maynard, you cut that out. I'm not either twanging on Gloria Mundy's heartstrings.
Oh, no? Then how come she's out in the hall pouring coffee all over her feet just because you dropped her like a hot tomato?
Maynard, that's hot potato. And who elected you, Miss Lonely Hearts, anyhow?
Ah, Dope, I just hate to see you packing like a real human being like Gloria for some slinky society chick. So it's going to boost you up the ladder of success and make
Maynard, enough. In the first place, she's no slinky society chick. And in the second place, it just so happens I'm very fond of Pamela. And in the third place, why shouldn't she give me a helping hand? Let's face it, I need all the help I can get.
I'll buy that.
I don't have any special skills or talents.
True.
Don't agree so fast. All I'm trying to say is that if Pamela likes me and wants to help my career, why shouldn't I let her? I might never get a break like this again.
I apologize, Dope, for thinking all those mean and rotten things.
Thank you, Maynard. Your vote of confidence comes at a...
Gillis, about these personnel reports here.
Something wrong, sir?
No, they're all fine, all except this last one, this Gloria Mundy. It's kind of unusual to transfer a waitress to our South American plant. No, you wouldn't be trying to get rid of Gloria Mundy for any reason now, would you?
No, sir, no. I just thought the change might do her good. Nothing like 5 or 6 years in the tropics to put roses in a girl's cheeks.
Yeah. Well, when I told her about it, she dropped the whole tray of jelly donuts. Yes.
Jelly donuts? Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
They're all fine here, all except Miss Mundy. I think we'll keep her in the Northern Hemisphere.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like adios, rat.
I'd like to have a word with you, Gillis, before the guests arrive.
Yes, sir?
I've been checking with Mr. Erdlatz concerning your progress, Gillis.
Yes, sir?
Why, it's phenomenal, my boy. Phenomenal. Yes, sir. You've got lumber in your blood.
Thank you, sir.
As a matter of fact, I was thinking that maybe someday, providing you and Pamela continue to hit it off, well, you could be...
Yes, sir. You were saying, sir?
Oh, it can wait till later. Here come the ladies, bless them. My, don't you look nice, both of you.
Good evening, Mrs. Lumpkin. Good evening, Pamela, my
Come
sweet.
along, Woodrow. The guests are arriving. You too, Pamela. I'll be there in just a minute. Dobie, dear, why don't you go get yourself something to eat?
Oh, good idea. Gloria? Gloria, you're working here?
Why not? I'm a waitress, true.
Gloria.
May I help you, sir?
Gloria, I've been meaning to have a little talk with
Some caviar, patty de foie gras, cheese.
Gloria, I know you think I'm just a rat in a mouse suit.
Gillis! Come over here. I want you to meet some people.
You better shove off, Dobie. It's not going to do your career any good slumming with the hired hands.
Slumming?
See on the society page, personality boy. Remember, there's always room at the top as long as you've got ambition, drive, and no conscience. And you don't care whose heart you break.
Gloria. 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 Thank you, Gloria.
For what?
You've made me see what I've become. Don't go away. I'll be back the minute I've done it.
Done what?
The decent thing. Pamela.
Oh, Dobie, come on. Guess who just got here? Teddy and Bunny and Kiki and Baba and Boo Boo.
Teddy and Bunny?
And Kiki and Baba and Boo Boo. They just flew in from Bermuda. Come on, you're just gonna love them.
No, I'm not Pamela. I'm not going to meet him.
What?
I'll make this fast, Pamela. The surgeon's quick knife is kinder after all.
Oh, Dobie, you've been at the champagne.
No, Pamela, what I'm trying to say is we're finished.
Finished?
It isn't that I don't like you, because I do. You're beautiful and sweet and the kind of girl I always dreamed about. The trouble is I can't figure out whether it's you I love or the Lumpkin Lumber Company.
I see. You've been talking to that waitress.
Yes, I have, but that's not the point. The point is...
But if you're going to be successful, you're going to be successful on your own, not because you're the boyfriend of the boss's daughter. True?
True.
Dobie, there's something you don't understand. I don't care if you're successful. I want you for yourself.
You mean you'd be poor with me?
Oh, happily.
You'd live on frankfurters and beans, do your own housework, make your own clothes?
Oh, I'd take in washing if necessary.
You?
Well, why not? I've done it lots of times.
Like when?
Well, once when I was on a camping trip, I did my own socks.
Really? All by yourself?
Okay, so I'm used to servants and luxuries and the finer things of life.
But you're willing to give them up for me?
Oh, I'm willing to try.
And if it doesn't work?
Oh, it'll work.
And if it doesn't?
Well, then we'll simply ask Daddy to give us a little help.
Like maybe build us a little cottage, just 14 little rooms, and put a couple of cars in our garage. Little cars, of course.
Dobie, I don't mind being poor, but I don't think there's any need to be ostentatious about it.
Pamela, you really are a wonderful girl, and maybe I'm a jerk not to grab you.
What do you mean, maybe?
Okay, I'm a jerk.
Dobie, I wish I could say I admire your independence.
But
what I really think is that you're some sort of a nut.
But no hard feelings.
None. And if this sudden attack nobility should wear off, there'll be a light burning in my window just for you.
Thank you, Pamela.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please line up for the Grand March and the judging of the costumes?
Gloria, I've got some wonderful news.
You just sprained your ankle.
No, Gloria, I've just had a long talk with Pamela, and I've reached a decision. No more junior executive training. No more using people to get to the top. Everything's going to be just like it was before. In short, Gloria, I'm yours.
Mine? Oh, gee, Dobie, I'm touched.
I knew you would be, my dear.
But not enough.
Not enough? What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Dobie, but it's gone. I've dropped my last jelly donut over you. It just isn't there anymore.
But you did care about me.
What I cared about was a nigger ambitious kid with a lot of crazy dreams and the guts to make them happen. Or at least try to make them happen. I wasn't figuring on a sellout.
But I told you, Gloria, I kicked it.
For how long?
For as long as you'll stick by me.
No sale. The guy I want doesn't have to have somebody to stick by him. All he needs is his own hands and his own head and his own heart.
Gloria, I'll do it. Will you wait for me?
Well, I can't make any promises.
Okay, no promises, but tell me this. Do I have reason to hope?
Well, you're alive, aren't you?
Sure.
Well, where there's life.
There's hope?
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand prize for the best original costume goes to the young man dressed as a chimney sweep.
No.
Well, a ragdigger.
No.
A junk collector?
No. I'm Maynard G. Krebs, I wasn't even in the contest. I want to go home. Tonight, 80s? Yes, my lamb, 80s shall be fine-ish. Until then, my angel.
Like Hiker, buddy.
Maynard, I'm a little bit busy.
Hey, Dobie, you notice anything different about me?
No, Maynard. Maynard, you're gonna kick me again?
It all depends.
Depends on what?
I'll show you. Hey, girl, come on in. Hey, Dobe, are you sorry he was such a louse and a rat and a skunk to Gloria?
Yes.
He says he's sorry he was such a louse and a rat and a skunk to you.
I'm sure he is.
Well, I ain't. Hey, Dobe, you gonna try not to be such a louse and a rat and a skunk to Gloria from now on?
Now, look.
Yes or no, good buddy? Remember, I still got one hard boot.
Yeah, all right, yes.
He says he's gonna try not to be such a louse and a rat and a skunk from now on.
Thank you, Maynard. I'll take it from here.
Oh, watch it, girl. He's a terrible liar.
Maynard.
Oh, I know Dobie is, well, shall we say opportunistic?
Shall we say sneaky?
And I thought it all over, and I really can't find it in my heart to be mad at Dobie, for I know deep down he's a good person.
Him? Oh, come now.
Hey, Dobe, if you'd still like to go out with me, I'd be proud and pleased.
That's fine, Gloria. I'll give you a call.
When?
Soon.
Tonight.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm kind of tied up tonight. You see, I've got this exam in chemistry tomorrow.
You ain't taking chemistry.
Did I say chemistry? How silly of me. What I meant is...
What you meant was you got a date with that slinky society chick.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Maynard, you're a meddler.
Girl, Bill was my dearest friend in the world, and you're like right. I mean, he does have good stuff inside of him. I mean, he's like loyal and decent and honest and true. But every once in a while, this crummy spell comes over him, and like I said, there's only one thing to do.
Maynard, what'd you have in mind?
Dobe, do you want to know where my other army boot is?
I don't think so. Look, Gloria. His heart. It empties his wallet. Just look how falling in love changed me. The minute it happened, I started to treat my loved ones differently. My mother, my father, my good buddy Maynard.
Dope, good buddy, the way you treat me, it's awful.
Maynard had a point. I was so busy being in love that I simply didn't have time to remain the sweet, kindly, considerate fella I've grown to know and love. But I could never get so involved that I'd ignore Maynard, my dearest, truest, most faithful friend.
I'm in deep, terrible, horrible, rotten, fearful trouble, and if you don't help me, I'm going to throw myself headstrong off a bridge.
Good work, Maynard. I'm proud of you. Sue Ellen, my angel, who says we can't be married immediately? You see the terrible crimes that a fella can commit in the name of love? I ignored poor Maynard when he needed me most. And if you watch closely, you'll see how it got everybody into more hot water than a whole picnic of hard-boiled eggs. Remember in history how they taught you that Nero played the violin while Rome burned? Well, a violin isn't exactly my cup of tea, but I was making my own kind of beautiful music while Maynard was setting fire to my life. But here's what really bugs me. That whole carload of headaches could have been avoided if only somebody'd been willing to help him out.
Maynard, I am willing to help you out. Just show me which way you came in. I was just leaving. I came here to talk to Doe, but I know he ain't here because if he was, you'd be hollering at him.
Well, Dobie's very busy these days, you know. He's the second assistant editor of the school newspaper.
That's what I want to talk to him about. I'm taking this journalism class so I can be a writer for a newspaper, and I want to do good at it.
Naturally.
But I'm flunking.
Naturally.
Thank you, Mrs. G. Your confidence is indeed heartwarming.
Don't mention it.
But Mr. Pomper says if I write a story good enough to get printed in the school newspaper, he'll give me a passing grade.
And you want Dobie to help you. Well, I'm sure he will. He's a very cooperative boy.
No, that he is.
And you know how much he likes you, Maynard.
Because he is not too bright.
Oh, for joy, because if Dope helps me, he'll save me from a fate worse than death, namely work. Work! I'm going to go see Professor Pomfret right now and tell him I know I can write a real good story, because every day my English is getting more betterer and betterer.
True, Mr. Krabs. If you keep up that progress, you may soon reach the heights of illiteracy.
Gloriosity, you mean I got a chance to pass, Mr. P?
Yeah, that's right, Mr. K. Dean Magruder here has asked me to give you one last chance by letting you write this story.
You will try to do it right this time, won't you, Mr. Krebs?
Oh, yes, sir, Your Deanship, yes.
See, Krebs, it is important to the entire school that you pass this journalism course.
Yes, I'm very lovable.
You're very something, Mr. Krebs. Not only that, but if you fail one more course, you will set a state record for the greatest number of flunks in a single regulation-length semester. Now, this is hardly the kind of honor this institution is looking for. Need I remind you?
Oh, you needn't. Don't worry, I'll do my best. I'll put every ounce of my head into it.
That's what I was afraid of. Mr. Pomfret, I leave the matter in your hands. Courage, man.
Mr. Krabs.
Yes, Chief?
The newspaper writing that we study in this journalism class is very difficult. It's not a game for children or boneheads.
That lets me out two ways, but please, won't you help me anyhow?
Mr. Krebs, you are free to leave this office at any moment. You don't even have to ask permission. Well, I tried. Mr. Krebs, are you familiar with verbs and adjectives?
Like no.
Nouns?
Like no.
Adverbs?
Like no.
You still think you can write a good newspaper story?
Like no.
Like I rest my case?
Like bye.
Oh, no, Mr. Krebs, please. Yes, sir. Come back, Mr. Krebs. You do deserve another chance. I believe that. I really believe that. Forgive me. Sometimes I'm a bit hasty and thoughtless.
No, you ain't.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
I should have quit when I was ahead.
You blew it, huh?
Maynard, at ease. Now, please, Mr. Krebs, if you really want to try to raise your journalism grade by writing a story for the school newspaper, I see no reason why you shouldn't give it a try.
Well, thank you, your professorship.
Of course, I also see no reason why you shouldn't flunk.
You're all heart, sir.
Yeah, how about that? But back to your problem. Now, try to pick a colorful subject, one that will interest the entire student body.
Yeah. Hey, how about if I wrote about the football team?
Yeah, well, no, Eddie Clyde's already taken that.
The basketball team?
Dan Grimble has that.
The music department?
That's also taken.
What's open?
The anthropology department.
I'm leaving.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Krebs, why do you give up so easily?
American know-how.
No, Mr. Krebs, you've got to hang in there, boy. Now, anthropology can be a fascinating subject.
You mean all them bones and skeletons and faucets?
That's fossils, and I'm not going to let you back down. Now, I have every expectation that you can do an outstanding job.
Me? Oh, come now.
And I know what I'm talking about.
You? Oh, come now.
Now, never mind that. You just get over there to Dr. Burkhart's office in anthropology, and I'm sure that she'll be happy to give you a lead on the interesting work that they're doing there.
Maybe if I find a real big story, it'll keep me from flunking, huh?
Yes.
A story everybody want to read.
Yes.
You don't really mean that, do you?
No.
Now, I don't want to cop out of getting blamed for what happened to Maynard. I mean, I want to, but I can't. Too many witnesses. But it's not 100% my fault. Take Dr. Burkhart, for instance.
Something fascinating going on in the anthropology department? Oh, come now.
Nothing, Dr. B?
Nothing, Mr. K. And, take off that silly eye shade. You look like you're ready to deal.
Hey, Dr. B, what about all these shields and, swords and shrunken heads? They look like they were left over from somebody's skull-cracking winged in.
Well, as a matter of fact, they were used in battles, but...
Like, wow, what a scoop. Right here in the anthropology department. I mean, who'd have thunk it?
Mr. Krebs. Mr. Krebs, what is it?
I scared myself.
There, you've been scaring the rest of us all semester.
Like, thank you.
Like you're welcome.
Like I'm dead.
Like true. So are the fellas who used those weapons for about 1,000 years.
So I ain't gonna get no story for the newspaper, and I gotta go out and face the hard, cruel world and vice versa. And believe me, that ain't gonna be easy for either of us.
Beneath that education-proof exterior, staying in school means a great deal to you, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, ma'am, sir. It's a matter of death and life.
Indeed.
Maybe both.
I do wish I could help you.
Well, then just don't stand there. Zoom off and get me a story.
Well, Mr. Krebs, I'm anxious to do what I can, but I must admit that writing about the anthropology department isn't as interesting as writing about, shall we say, the football team?
Like, true, but I ain't allowed to write about football. I gotta write about you and anthropology.
A pity.
Hey, I got it.
What?
Dr. B, you turn out for football.
Are you finished?
Boy, am I finished. No scoop, no story. I mean, it's like bye college, a low unemployment bill.
Mr. Krebs, I have an idea that may give you the kind of story you're looking for.
Yeah.
Of course. Why didn't I think of it before?
Yeah, what's the matter with you?
Mr. Krebs.
Like, oops, sorry. Fire when ready. I'm ready. Go, Wubba.
Now, get this straight. My anthropology class is going to study the native rituals of the Marquesas Islands. We start next Friday.
Gotcha. How do you spell that?
M-A-R...
No. Friday.
Mr. Krebs, please, just let me tell you what we're going to do.
Clue me.
I'm cluing. Now, instead of merely reading from books, the class will actually recreate a native tapua, a ritual ceremony. Isn't that fascinating?
That's the word, fascinating.
And the class and I will wear authentic costumes that I brought back from my last expedition to the islands. Oh, that's an exciting idea, wouldn't you say?
I ain't saying.
Now, Mr. Krebs, this is the real thing. Nothing phony.
Boy.
What do you think?
I think you ought to go for football so I can write a real story.
We will perform ceremonial dances, not the T formation, and we will drop the subject immediately. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. Oh, stop standing there like a sick spaniel and go write your story.
Okay, I'll do my best, but I'm no optometrist about it.
You ain't no student of the English language, neither. But give it the old college try, Mr. Krebs. We're all behind you. Here's a photo album with pictures of a couple of my expeditions. Now, you might find something in here to help illustrate your article.
Hey, Dr. B, how about this one?
Oh, any one you want, Mr. K. I'm afraid all the pictures are pretty blah.
Blah ain't exactly the word. It's more like wow.
Mr. Krabs, this may turn out to be one of my more spectacular mistakes, but may one inquire what you are doing?
One may.
Thank you.
One is writing one story for one school newspaper.
One sees.
And one's making sure what one is writing is writ right, not writ rotten.
Mr. Krabs, you are a gem.
Yeah, I'm kind of cute.
True, but why are you sitting at that typewriter?
You gotta be kidding. Whoever heard a reporter not sitting at his typewriter when he's writing his hot flash?
But you're not typing.
Naturally, I don't know how to type.
But you're sitting there at the typewriter anyhow.
Naturally. Whoever heard of a reporter not sitting at his typewriter when he's writing his hot flash?
Mr. Krabs, may I make one statement?
One may.
I surrender.
Well, sooner or later, one always does.
How's your story coming?
Great.
Fine.
Beautiful.
Good.
I need help.
No, Mr. Krabs. Negative. Now, I am very anxious for you to write an outstanding story and get it printed in the school newspaper so I can give you a passing grade in journalism, but I can give you absolutely no help.
Okay, Mr. P, if those are the rules and you want to be mean and rotten. Mr. P?
What now?
How much absolutely no help you're going to give me?
All right, Mr. Krabs, read me the first sentence in your story, but that's positively as far as I'll go.
Next Friday, there will be a very nice and interesting demonstration in a nice and interesting classroom of a nice and interesting Dr.
Stop, Mr. Krabs. Those are terrible words.
I got to wash out my mouth with soap?
No, I simply mean that they are flat and weak and colorless words. Now, when we're writing newspaper stories, we have to use strong, forceful phrases, not dreary words like nice. Take this downtown newspaper, for instance. Now, it may not be great literature, but it's brimming over with flavor and spark and excitement. That's why people read it. Take, for instance, this review of the movie that opened yesterday at the Bijou, 1001 Arabian Nights.
Ooh, I seen that picture. It's real nice.
There's that nothing word again, nice. Now, look at the words that they use in the paper to describe the picture. Wild, unbridled, pagan revel, raw, primitive, pleasure mad. Do you understand, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah. I gotta go see that movie again.
The same principle applies to any subject. Now look, here is a story about the state beauty contest with a picture of the winner. Now, how would you describe her?
Nice. Pretty, cute, muscular.
Now listen to the words they use. Dazzling, bewitching, captivating.
I can't use any of them words, Mr. P.
Why not?
Can't spell them.
And this is just what you need, Mr. Krabs. Don't be afraid. In here you will find the right words, and you will find how to spell them. Now, I have to rush off to the print shop. After you finish writing your story, if your friend Mr. Gillis thinks it's good enough to run in the school paper, in it goes, and I will give you a passing mark, as I promised.
Mr. P? Mr. P? Mr. P?
Yes?
You are extremely raw and primitive and dazzling.
Mr. Krabs. Goodbye.
Next Friday, there'll be a very nice and interesting... Oh. Some of them wishy-washy words. Let's see, I better change nice and interesting to, yeah. Wild, unbridled, pleasure-mad, pagan revel. Yeah. Let's see. The demonstration will be put on by the nice, brainy Dr. Imogene... Nice, brainy? That's even more washy and wishy. Better change that to, yeah. The pleasure-mad revel will be put on by the dazzling, bewitching, captivating Dr. Imogene Burkhart.
So the storm clouds were starting to gather. The disaster was starting to get disastrous. Now, one fella could have stopped all the trouble simply by not okaying Maynard's story. Who was that fella? Namely, me. And what was that fella doing? Pursuing his favorite pursuit, namely a girl. When Maynard shoved that story in front of me to sign, all I saw was blue eyes, golden hair, and the face of an angel. Not Maynard's. At a time like that, I would have signed a petition to redraft me and put me on permanent KP. Yep, I signed Maynard's story. And that makes me one of the great goof artists of the 20th century. I mean, I make Wrong Way Corrigan look like Mr. Wonderful. On account of me, Professor Pomfret reached a rather startling conclusion. Maynard had written a readable, printable, grammatical newspaper story.
Take your story and photograph over to the press room, Mr. Krabs. Tell him I said it was okay to run it in tomorrow's edition.
Don't you want to read it first? My little gem is beautiful.
No, that won't be necessary, Mr. Krebs. I trust Mr. Gillis's judgment. After all, I appointed him as assistant editor of the student paper, and I'm an excellent judge of character. I'm due at the gym in 5 minutes for the faculty volleyball game, and I never miss it. How do you think I keep the old stomach in shape?
Overeating? Oh, what a good day for that lovable newspaper man, Maynard G. Krebs, and for the school newspaper, and for that tantalizing, alluring, sultry, voluptuous Dr. Imogene Burkhardt, and for the whole S. Peter Pryor Junior College.
I may just burn down the entire S. Peter Pryor Junior College.
Herbert, you're jumping to conclusions.
Winnie, this is a conclusion I do not have to jump to. I can get there by crawling. Oh, I tell you, Winnie, that school is a hotbed of monkey business and carrying on.
Oh, slow down, Herbert. We don't know all the facts.
Facts, Max. Who needs facts? Listen to this. Mad, unrestrained revel, unharnessed savages, pleasure-mad students, and get a load of the picture of that teacher. No, I wonder what she teaches. Look at that in the topless, bottomless, backless, frontless. Here, look at it yourself.
Well, Herbert, even a teacher may go swimming.
Yeah, and even a teacher may take a bath, but you shouldn't have her picture taken doing it. Oh, and to think that our son, the son of Herbert T. Gillis with the Good Conduct Medal, is a student at that fun house.
Herbert, where did you get this copy of the school newspaper?
I stole it out of Dobie's lunchbox. It was for his own good. Oh, Winnie, where is our poor boy right now?
Why, Herbert, you're going to make yourself sick if you carry on like
I
that.
got a right to carry on like this if they can carry on like that. Oh, our boy, our poor boy.
Now, Herbert, listen to me. Even if there is something bad going on at the college, I'm sure that Dobie has enough strength to resist it.
You think so?
Why, of course he takes after his father, doesn't he?
True. We better
get over there quick.
Mr. Gillis, have you read...
You bet we have, Mrs. Grindle.
It's a good thing I stole this paper from my daughter's purse, or I never would have known what those sneaky kids were up to. Well, it was for our own good. Oh, my poor baby. I knew some evil influence was working on her the way she's been acting lately.
Well, no offense, but it's your own fault if she's running around with the wrong crowd. Why, right this very minute, she may be out for all you know with some low-down character.
I wouldn't be surprised.
See?
She's with your son.
Well, our boy is one boy that you don't have to worry about. He has great inner strength and can resist temptation.
You bet he can.
I'll say he can.
Like heck he can.
Herbert, you can't just rush over to the college like a wild bull. We have to have a plan of action.
No, you're right, Winnie.
We'll march straight to the dean of the college and demand that he fire this Burkhardt woman.
Right, and if he won't do it, we'll go over his head. We will go higher. We will go to the football coach. Right, and we got plenty of evidence here to get rid of her. Wild pagan revel, too.
I want to see the dean.
Right, and I want to see my Dobie.
Yeah, and I want to see that Dr. Burkhardt.
Herbert!
Oh, what I mean is, I want to see that Dr. Burkhardt.
I want to see that Maynard G. Krebs.
Have no fear, Dr. Burkhardt. You'll be given every chance to defend yourself against the serious charges brought against you.
Yes, but will Mr. Krebs be given every chance to defend himself against the serious shot in the head I'm going to give him?
Don't try to pass the buck, girlie.
Girlie? Mr. Gillis, I happen to be a Ph.D. with degrees in archaeology, anthropology, and geology from major universities all over the world.
But this doesn't stop you from monkeying around in your spare time, does it, girlie?
Oh, Dean Magruder, this is eminently unfair. I've been teaching in this college for 8 years. There's no reason why I should be on trial like this. You know what kind of work I do.
Dean Magruder, our children are your responsibility. I consider it a gross neglect of duty that you've allowed this shocking revel to take place.
It hasn't taken place yet.
But when it does, it will be a Lulu, huh, girl?
No, I only meant... Oh, Mr. Gillis, you just got me so angry and upset I feel like something the cat dragged in.
You rang?
Mr. Krebs, I would like a word with you.
Sure, Dr. B. I got lots of them. Which one do you want?
Oh, Mr. Krebs.
How about tantalizing or provocative? I got a pleasure, man.
Mr. Krebs.
Yes, sir, Your Highness?
You are responsible for this article, are you not?
Yes, sir. I read every word of it.
And every word of it is a lie.
I never saw that story before in my life.
May you tell us the truth? Did Dr. Burkhart say those things or didn't she?
I cannot tell a lie, ma'am. Yes, she did.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Krebs. Dr. Burkhart said that she was going to have, and I quote, a raw, primitive, pagan revel?
Yes, sir, she did. Almost.
Aha! In other words, she did not say exactly these words. You admit that?
I do?
Oh, let's cut out all this polite sparring. Everybody knows Maynard's telling the truth. He's too stupid to lie.
This incident has already stirred up a good deal of unpleasantness, thanks to Mr. Krebs.
You're welcome.
Yes, the State Director of Education has phoned me 3 times. I received 24 resignations from the alumni associations, and dozens of irate parents have called me. No, yes, I've been asked to appear on What's My Line? So it's imperative we get to the bottom of this case. I have the perfect solution.
Now, fire that alluring, bewitching troublemaker.
Oh, no, Mr. Gillis. I'm going to give her every chance to prove that she didn't plan the rebels that this article says. Well, congratulations, Dean Magruder. It's about time Dr. Burkhart had a chance to speak for herself. Not speak, Mr. Pomfret. Dance.
Dance?
Like dance?
Dance. Dr. Burkhart, I want you to demonstrate the dance for us just as you intend to present it.
No.
Scared to gallivant around in front of the boss in those glorified BVDs, huh?
Mr. Gillis, shame on you.
This proves that she is guilty. Out she goes, Teenie. Out, out.
Dean Magruder, I stay or leave. On my record as a teacher, my dancing has no bearing on this.
Hear, hear.
Where?
Professor Pomfret, I'd advise you to watch what you say. Since you allowed this article to be published in the first place, your position is rather shaky for the time being.
And since I wrote the article, I'm kind of shaky too, huh?
Yours is the shakiest, Mr. Krebs. True or not, this article reflects most unfortunately on the dignity of this college. And while we're at it, there's one more person who has contributed to this unfortunate situation.
Throw the bum out.
The assistant editor of the school paper, who officially okayed the story so it could be printed.
Throw the bum out.
Herbert.
Throw the bum out.
His name is Dobie Gillis.
Now, just a minute. Just a darn minute.
I'm not going to fight this anymore. If the administration of this college has so little confidence in its teachers that it refuses to take a firm stand on this issue, then it isn't the sort of college with which I care to be associated. I quit.
Well, if we teachers are going to have to shiver in our boots every time some neighborhood crackpot, no offense, Mr. Gillis, gets a cockeyed idea, then I quit too.
Me too.
Mr. Krebs, a student can't quit.
Then I flunk. It's more natural anyhow.
I'll second that.
I'll be back with the rest of my things tomorrow.
Dr. Burkhart, excuse me. Is this the costume that you were planning to wear for the dance?
Yes, and my students were going to wear the same sort of thing.
Herbert, this is the shocking garment that you've been complaining about.
Well,
Why, that would cover a dozen dancing girls.
Probably even 10.
I really did expect something a little different.
And all they're going to do is shuffle around thusly.
Oh, Dr. Burkhart, my husband owes you an apology, don't you, Herbert?
Oh,
Don't you, Herbert?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I guess I was kind of miserable.
I'll buy that.
You should have thought for a moment before you started yelling and complaining.
Dr. Burkhart, you were right. You've been a fine teacher, and that's all that counts, of course. So please stay here with us, huh?
Please, I'm getting pretty misty, Dr. B.
Very well, Dean. I'll stay. And what's more, you're all invited to my class on Friday. We're having a dance.
Thank you. Hurry down, my dear.
Like Maynard was out of the woods. However, let me point out, that's what Little Red Riding Hood said. But the wolf had different ideas. You see, the decision had to be made on Dr. Burkhart's wild, primitive, pagan dance.
This dance is called a Heo, our marriage ritual.
This is what I made all the fuss about?
Like true, my Aunt Walter does a racier dance than that.
I got such a big mouth.
Like true.
Don't agree so quick.
You know something, Mr. G? You look like disappointed.
Who asked you?
Mr. G? What? What's the matter?
You're right, Maynard. I'm disappointed.